Nicholas!
Had nothing to do with the Nux Taku drama.
Dude, these Nicholas betrayals are starting to stack up, aren't they? Oh dear. Very true, very base take. Can we get a round of applause for me for giving such a correct take? I was saying earlier about the smoking gun thing. JF Gary Epi seems to disagree that there's a smoking gun. But I think there's probably something.
I got worms in my brain.
Thank you for the super chat. I just think there's like that there are problematic implications with just releasing a bunch of criminal justice shit that people don't really contend with or think of. I don't think it's as simple as you can just release everything. There's going to be some level of redaction at the very least to protect the victims, which is reasonable. But then there could be other, other reasons for redacting stuff. But anyway, there we go. Politics done. The rightoids fell for it again. What would even happen if they got a full unredacted file? I mean, I don't know. You could be like, you look at it and you go, oh, there's these names. Like, there's a massive underestimation of the work that's required to do journalism, to report on things, let alone investigating it for criminal conduct. It's like way beyond what these people conceive of, especially when with the criminal implications, you've got to then consider people's due process and civil rights and the different standards that you need to prove guilt, like beyond a reasonable doubt, or even the level of belief needed to even arrest someone for having committed a crime in America. So it's a lot more complicated than people give it credit for. And there could be someone that like might have done something, but if you're investigating it and they might have done it, I mean, that might not even necessarily be enough to arrest them for it, let alone convict them in court. So it's, difficult. But we will see. The arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice, as they say. Right. Epstein has video on everyone. See, this is the thing, is I think there's probably something. I think there's probably some stuff there, but I think people overstate what that is. I think that's probably the more reasonable perspective. I think people have got this perception that there's just full videos of a celebrity, raping a child. And I just don't think it would be like, I just don't think that necessarily exists in the way that people conceive of it, I think it's probably a bit more complicated than that. Anyway. Yes, I need to trim my beard. I need to trim my beard. I need to trim my beard. Right. That is what he has. How do you know? How do you know with certainty? There's stuff that's implicating. There's probably stuff that there probably are videos of some things happening, right? There's probably some stuff there, but I think people have got this vision that it is provable without doubt, 100%. It's this thing happening, and I just don't know if that's true. I think it's a bit more complicated than that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to do a bit of Mutahar today. I wasn't sure whether I was going to watch this video, but in light of their moves were made, in light of there not being much going on that I haven't spoken about already, we're going to dig back into the Mutahar, okay, for a little trip down memory lane. This is more of a retrospective video, and also I hope that maybe there's some stuff in here that I didn't notice when I was covering it live. So this is someone called Lord Crust. Now, I'm not familiar with Lord Crust's videos. I've seen them, a little bit in the Discord, floating about a bit. But I'm not familiar with their stuff. I'm not familiar with, their takes and stuff. So it's quite nice to hopefully have, a fresh perspective on this. But they've actually done some quite successful videos. Look at this. They got 6K subs, and they did a 77K view video on Nux Taku. 29K video on Art Commentary Freaks. So, yeah, pretty good. What is this one thing? Mr. T Lexify needs another quick revive. That's interesting. I wonder what he thought about the Mr. T Lexify stuff, because I was one of the only people that thought he'd actually done something wrong. A lot of people believed his, what I thought was a dog shit response video. So yeah, it looks like they started off doing more kind of like gaming stuff, and I guess they've gone into commentary. Maybe because they were interested, but it seems like they've had some level of success. I mean, look, I'm Alex got 80k views. These thumbnails are AIDS. I mean, look, these are years old, okay? I can't really judge too harshly. Listen, Lord Crust is trying his best, okay? Can we... Anyway, let's get into it and see what he's got to say about this.
The reality of it is, I don't have to come out and make these videos, but I choose to because I believe being accountable is important, and I'd be a total hypocrite because I call other people out on crazy shit. And if I'm willing to completely sweep things under the rug and pretend like things don't exist, or show you actual things, then I am a pretty big fucking hypocrite on my own.
Mutahar, aka Someordinarygamers, the more tech-oriented member of the Daily Slop Show, has been lying to you, his audience, and fellow creators about his ex-podcast co-host and seemingly friend, the controversial VTuber Nux Taku, who I covered in my last video. This is not even the first time either, as Mutahar has previously been dishonest in his coverage of his other ex-friend, Mamamax. So without further ado, let me...
He's kind of got like a Trainwreck's energy. I'm getting a bit of a Trainwreck's vibe. Maybe it's the way he looks. This camera angle is kind of wild. Also, center parting. Is that the new thing? Is that the in thing at the moment? A center parting? I used to have a center parting when I was younger, but it looked weird. And now, obviously, with my hair situation being what it is, I have to do this to cover up my failing hairline. But anyway,
let me outline Mutahar's application into the Nightmare Blonde rotation. Mutahar, aka Someordinarygamers, is a daily upload YouTuber nearing on 4 million subscribers, with content primarily consisting of recent news to do with tech, gaming, social media, and drama. What's important to us though is specifically Mutahar's interest in drama content, as it was at the extent where he would join calls with related creators such as...
Is that Oblivion music I can hear?
Chudlogic or Nicholas Dioro, who would be important later, or even personally get involved with dramas
obviously.
Such as the one focused around Mutahar's aforementioned old pal Mamamax, which is something that I'll address later. For now though, let me just outline the fact that Mutahar was friends and ex-podcast co-host with the aforementioned Nux Taku. Just briefly, for those who did not watch my last video, Nux Taku is a controversial VTuber who was exposed for putting a lollipop in his thumbnails. Lollipop is drawn depictions of children and is illegal to view, let alone mass distribute using your YouTube channel where Nux Taku and Mutahar live, or more specifically, Canada. If you want the full details on that situation, as I said, my previous video outlines all of Nux Taku's wrongdoing, although it's not necessary to watch for this video. If you do go and watch it, please ignore all the lolly defending freaks that for some reason congregated in the comments. I previously stated that Mutahar and Nux Taku were ex-podcast co-hosts.
It's just a drawing. That is my favourite defense that I hear. People not engaging in any way with any of the concepts. Like, I would say it's two sides of the same coin, where you've got people who on the one side are just condemning it without thinking about what's wrong with it. They're just condemning it on the basis of it's a drawing of a child, right? But they're not thinking about, well, what's the actual underlying problems and issues with this stuff? And then you've got the people that are saying, well, it's just a drawing. And it's like, well, you're not engaging with the more fundamental discussion about the potential implications and issues with consuming it or distributing it, you know? People just want a, you know, very simplistic analysis of it. They want a very simplistic, simple analysis to condemn or defend on the basis of it being a drawing. And I'm saying, well, no, there's actually more deeper implications. And if you go deeper, I think you can make stronger condemnations of the people that consume it than you can if you just say the disgust response, you know?
However, that X was added in one of the aforementioned calls to chudlogic.
But I must ask you something, okay? I'm hearing and seeing a lot of rumors and criticism of Nux Taku for his connection to Shadman that many are saying he's trying to disassociate himself from now because it's controversial. Do you have any perspectives or takes on that?
I haven't followed anything on it. I did have a call with him, and he did tell me like they interacted before. I think it was like the collab. Okay. And from just like behind the scenes, he told me that this was all like a joke or something at the time, which is like, I never pressed so hard into that just because I have no knowledge of like how far his relationship goes. All I know about Shadman is like the last 6 days there's been a mega leak of everyone's interactions, like Elvis the Alien, Nux, everyone. So it's like, I don't know the extent of it, but obviously it's
By the way, I mean, obviously some of this we obviously covered quite extensively, and it's more of a retrospective now. What's funny about this conversation is the reason this conversation happened in the first place. Chud knew he would be in this video, that's why he's reacting to it. I actually don't like reacting to content that is primarily about me. It just feels a bit awkward. It's like, yep, there's me, guys. But there's like nothing else going on. There's nothing else I could find that was of interest to kind of cover. So I figured we'd just watch this, even though it's a bit awkward for me. Okay. But yes, he was calling in because I was watching the Charlie Sneeko debate. Thank you for the Prime sub. And to me at least, it felt like he was calling in to kind of like defend Moist without explicitly defending him. It was kind of like a soft sweep job, to put it simply. So it's just interesting that in doing that, it then brought about all of this Nux Taku stuff that panned out.
Disavowal if he ever obviously wanted to collaborate with him in a meaningful way or like defend him or something, you know?
Yeah, sure. And, you know, obviously I don't want to like super hardcore hold you to account for someone else's actions.
And I also just want to say I don't ever would believe that Nux would have no idea about the Shadman child lolly.
Who's this? Who's this? Wow, wow. January 3rd. Wow. Didn't this drama happen last year? Wait. Why is there a tweet from January 3rd about it? Wayback Machine Archives show that a video from May 5th, 2021 used Shadman artwork in its thumbnail 163 days after the supposed one and only time.
Drawing stuff, like that would make no sense. He's been in this space long enough to know better.
Sure.
So if this was like a genuine interaction, like I have no doubt as somebody that, you know, is in the anime culture to not have any clue that Shadman was doing crazy shit. Like you'd have no, if I knew that Shadman was drawing kids and doing crazy shit, Nux definitely did, and that's never okay.
Okay. Are you going to keep him off the podcast?
No, we would cancel the podcast. It's not happening. The podcast is done.
This is hard because obviously, you know, people won't be
podcast is done, yeah. Podcast is done now.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the podcast is over. We are not filming the last episode. It's over.
Is that are you serious?
Yeah, we're not doing the podcast anymore. It's done.
Why?
We're supposed to film on Tuesday. Well, there's a couple reasons for it. A lot of that was obviously some of the Shad stuff too, because we were kind of sitting there, we're like, me and Caleb, we were just like, this is, I don't know, it's weird. The other thing was we just want to
yes, I know, we've seen this a lot. I mean, at this point, I'm basically just writing to myself. Oh, man. I'm just sat here watching myself, dude. Okay. Someone asked if I always wear the same clothes. I don't, but what I hope is that I eventually get to the point where I've just got the same outfit every day. That's my vision. A bit like the Apple guy would only wear the same clothes. Just to say, you know, obviously a clean version, but a different version each day.
Maybe like 2 months down the road or something between each other, and that's kind of where we're at.
Damn. Nux Taku getting iced out. Sorry.
As far as I'm concerned, this was the first place that the cancellation of the Some Ordinary podcast was
Halo
announced
music
publicly.
as well.
Hence, Chudlogic's utter bemusement. It seems possible to me, even likely, that this was an in-the-moment knee-jerk reaction from Mutahar and not necessarily a planned decision, but regardless. Despite stating that a lot of it had to do with the Shadman stuff, Mutahar went on to contradict himself by claiming that the podcast was actually ending due to behind-the-scenes restructuring and not due to the drama surrounding Nux Taku, which, yeah, I don't know, man. That just seems like extremely convenient timing if true. There is an interpretation that Mutahar was talking about the cancellation of just the final episode and not necessarily the whole podcast, and that the final episode was the part that was specifically due to the Shadman stuff. But yeah, that's definitely not how Chudlogic took it, and I would say understandably so, considering Mutahar just kind of threw the information in as we're not filming the final episode.
Yeah, the podcast is over. We are not filming the last episode. It's over.
To me, however, it seems this interpretation is a retroactive attempt from Mutahar and his sweepers to latch onto a single word that he used in his conversation with Chudlogic, especially considering the fact that Mutahar initially said this.
Are you going to keep him off the podcast?
No, we would cancel the podcast.
Oh, and when you look at that, he's already lying. They did end up releasing a final episode. Even more bizarrely, Nux Taku ended up releasing a video which featured a video sent in by Mutahar, in which they both again clarified that the podcast ending had nothing to do with the drama surrounding Nux Taku.
But it literally does have nothing to do with Jadmin.
Hey everybody, Muta here, and I just wanted to make it as clear as possible. This podcast is not over because of Nux and his situation currently.
So why?
Why didn't he just message me? Why didn't he just fucking message me and say, oh, hey, Chud, listen, I've kind of fucked up here, okay? I said something out of turn. It's not actually true. Right? And obviously it would have put me in a difficult position. But at least you're giving me some fucking knowledge or something at least to go off. But this motherfucker just does this, completely blindsiding me. And making it seem like I'd done something wrong. Like, bro, all I did was, well, DK obviously put the video out, but he just put out a video based on what was discussed in the show. God, it's so fucking irritating. But anyway, it is, I wouldn't say water under the bridge. Did we watch a retrospective about this before? Probably. And we're going to watch the next retrospective about it as well, I Wrestle Weebs. And then the one after that. And then the one after that. We're going to watch every single retrospective that comes out about this. Just to justify me watching myself for hours, okay?
The f did Mutahar state that a lot of it had to do with the Shadman stuff?
Ladies and gentlemen, a couple days ago at this point, I was on a podcast, or not a podcast, but I was on a live stream with a creator known as Chudlogic, and I wasn't exactly clear as to the ending of the podcast, which really is an ending. Let me be more clear with you. The timing of this is actually purely coincidental, like you see on all those disclaimers for any movie or television show you're watching, or video game that you're playing. No, in reality, what
Bro, these people are so fucking brain dead, bro. Mutahar fans are just subhuman intelligence. What are the responses here? Liar of what? Mamamax completionist. Those other people with proven nefariousness. So they're trying to use the fact that Mamamax and the completionist are bad people to essentially wipe away any potential wrongdoing or lying that he did in regards to those situations. But that's not the point. The point isn't that they're bad people, so who cares about them getting lied about, right? I mean, I don't even think this is about the completionist, is it? But with Mamamax, it's that, you know, his dishonesty was to attempt to further disassociate unreasonably and deny the kind of connection that he had and not account for the help he'd given, the propping up that he'd done of Mamamax. You know, it's because of people like Mutahar that Mamamax were able to succeed and get away with it for so long. Yeah, Mamamax bad, but completely leaves out the fact that Mutahar propped him up. Exactly. You know, you could say, oh, you went on one show with him? Like, yeah, whatever. Like, fine. Like, it happens. You know, but this guy made numerous videos supporting him. I'm sure the video is going to get into it. But this was completely obfuscated from his own coverage. And then he came on my stream and showed his belly and was like, yeah, I'm a retard, and then never fucking mentioned it in his own content. And then what else? Dude, wait, what was the other thing? That he Arch is a good distro. Everyone knows real Linux. Oh my god, bro. There's no way, dude. Lord Crust. Probably got paid by the cockpleasonist. Okay. Well, at least someone is calling this out. I mean, Muta showed his colours with Nux situation, but compared to many today, he's fine. Okay. I mean, to be fair, at least that is offering some criticism, so I'm not going to say too much about that, but other people are bad, though. The world of 1K subscriber commentary YouTubers is wild. There's nothing they won't say for a chance to get viral. So, is anyone at any point actually going to contend with what he says in the video? Or is it just contending with what you think he says on the video based on your perception of 1K sub YouTubers? I mean... Okay, dude. Bro, these people are just worthless. Totally worthless waste of breath. But it's an hour long. That means it's got to be true. What? There isn't a single comment that is even contending with what is said. It is literally just reacting to their perception of what it is. Lord Crust. Sounds like someone who is canonically dropping crusty lines from their crack to underwear every day. Yeah, they can't even get past the name. What does the name matter? This feels like clickbait. Literally just getting pressed about the name. Oh my god, dude. Mutahar is a fraud. Source chudlogic. Okay, bro. Bit awkward. Getting brought up again. Yeah, Mutahar is a fraud. Absolutely. He's got an... Well, the one thing I would point to, if you wanted to really know this on, is the fact that he constantly talks about holding himself accountable and how important it is as a creator. And then he takes every effort and step he can to walk back and cover up any small attempt he makes to be accountable in order to keep his pristine image as this based commentator on the internet. You know, it's like happened with the Nux Taku thing, happened with the Mamamax thing. I'm sure there's other examples too. But yeah. He professes values and beliefs he doesn't hold himself to. That's it. He's a fraud. Anyway.
Actually happened is me and Caleb, we have our own kind of thing over here that you know, ultimately behind the scenes, the podcast and rather the ownership of it and the structure of it is something that we're actually working on again. So I hope that clears things up. The timing was purely coincidental, and obviously I would obviously love to work with Nux and Caleb again and get this podcast more structured in a way that we really want to push out, especially with the quality that we imagine and, you know, just the style that we want to bring. So hopefully that clears things up, and yeah, I'm going to leave it right back to my friend Nux.
So yes, Mutahar is claiming that it was just a critical misspeak. Anyway, Nux Taku also said this afterwards.
But anyway, the point is, people going crazy in the quote retweets back on my original tweet when I said they not like us in regards to Chris Tyson, stuff like this, with 43,000 likes, basically calling me a pedophile for no reason. Nux, you are a lolicon defender, which is ironic because I was literally in drama like a year and a half ago because I do not like lollipop. And then the anime community came for me because I do not like lollipop. Which is, it's kind of ironic. I literally got canceled from both sides of the aisle on this one.
Yes, oh my god, I was about to say this. And Lord Crust is pointing it out. The lolly freaks just dislike Nux Taku because he's a hypocrite. Yes. Yes. It's a lie. This is like a lie that Nux Taku is telling, that they don't like him because of... Well, first of all, I don't even think it's true that he doesn't like lolly porn. He's used it plenty in his own content in the past. But it's more so that he's got this big stance against lolly stuff now because the tides have turned more to being more popular to give that take. And... they're just pointing out, well, how on earth can you have such a strong take on it when you've got this history of using it to promote your own content and playing around in the lolly playground, right? Like, you're just a fucking hypocrite on this, you know? So, yeah. Very, very good point. Is that Nicandros as well in the background behind him too? Did Nicandros help with these videos? Oh no. Stylo's not going to be happy with that.
Imagine getting canceled for not liking lollipop and then getting canceled, not that I like lollipop, but because they think I like lollipop because I got DM'd by Shadman one time in the past.
No, Nux Taku, that is a part of it, but for one, Nux Taku was heavily downplaying his interactions with Shadman. Another factor is that he had lolly within his now deleted thumbnails. Regardless, chudlogic reacted to this video and even came in with another source, that being the aforementioned Nicholas Diorio, who actually backed up the claim that the podcast ending had nothing to do with the Nux Taku drama.
Dude, these Nicholas betrayals are starting to stack up, aren't they? Oh dear.
Realistically, podcast being done is for completely other reasons, and it is a total coincidence that it's happening at the same time as the Shadman stuff. Again, I don't expect people to believe me because people are taking everything I say out of out of context in the ugliest possible of ways. So,
okay, so look, obviously, right, I understand what this looks like to people as well, okay? This does look like damage control. Now, what I'm going to do, because I'm fair, okay, I'm going to bring in, well, not bring in, but let you know about another source of information on this, okay? So I got a message from Nicholas Diorio. Nicholas Diorio's word is his bond, as far as I'm concerned, okay? I'll just read it out. So Nicholas said the following: I verified with an independent person the reason why the podcast... Yeah, the other thing to bear in mind with this is, yeah, obviously, it's fucking annoying that I got this information from Nicholas. And it turned out to be, you know, essentially more damage control. But at this point, the podcast was still cancelled. Like, the other episode hadn't come out, and the belief was still that the podcast was done and no further episode was going to be released. You know? So, to be honest with you, like, it obviously caused confusion. It obviously caused confusion for me, because I was like, well, I've now got someone that I trust telling me this. But I think that what really happened was that Nux and Mutahar were playing with this other story that had some truth to it about this behind the scenes podcast stuff in an effort to cover up the fact, or to obfuscate the fact, that Mutahar had said this thing in the moment about Nux Taku, and it then had caused some drama between Mutahar and Nux. But yeah, obviously it is fucking annoying that it spun out this way when it happened. And Muta 100% had a moment. Absolutely 0% of the pod breaking up could be related to Shadman Nux if the story had been told to me in good faith. I have not even asked Mutahar or any of the hosts about it, all through an unbiased third party with knowledge regarding the business issue. Okay, so Nicholas Diorio there. Yeah, this is the other thing too, is Dojangles came in and said this, and it was just, I was utterly mind raped, basically. I was totally and utterly mind raped and not knowing what the fuck was going on, and I kind of just threw my hands up in the air and was like, well, I don't know what the fuck is going on here then. It's way too confusing. I've now got, you know, Nicholas telling me this. I've then got fucking Dojangles feeding me this info in chat. So what the fuck am I supposed to believe? I've got these big YouTubers that are seemingly making these moves to, like, you know, repudiate my coverage in some way. It's, yeah, very fucked situation. You know, confirming via a third party that apparently it's not to do with the Shadman stuff. So that does raise the question, why the fuck would Mutahar come on my stream and strongly imply, if not outright state, that that was the reason, or was a big part of the reason? It doesn't make any sense.
Indeed, it does not make sense. Again, here are the exact words Mutahar used.
Is that are you serious?
Yeah, we're not doing the podcast anymore. It's done.
Why?
We're supposed to film on Tuesday. Well, there's a couple reasons for it. A lot of that was obviously some of the Shad stuff too, because we were kind of sitting there, we're like, me and Caleb, we were just like, this is, I don't know, it's weird.
A lot of it has to do with the Shadman stuff, huh? Well, as established, I wasn't the only person questionable of Nux Taku and Mutahar. Creators by the name of Nicandrus and Harmful Opinions collaborated, making a video detailing Nux Taku's wrongdoing, which was subsequently watched by Chudlogic, and let me say, this just really set the mood for his next conversation with Mutahar.
Maybe it just became a YouTube problem.
This f***ing freak got swept for, and it made me look like I was being a f***ing retard. It's completely obscene. It is totally f***ing obscene, bro. What the f*** was Mutahar thinking? This is f***ing obscenity. This is totally obscene, okay? Moves were made that called into question the quality of my f***ing reporting, okay? When I did nothing wrong, and Nux Taku is a total f***ing freak. This is the guy you're f***ing sweeping for? Seriously? Give me a f***ing break, dude. Oh my god. Dude, I can't take it. I'm trying to keep my cool. I'm trying to be relaxed, okay? I'm trying to be f***ing cool about this, but I'm f***ing losing it right now, dude. Holy f***, bro. This is shameful. This is f***ing shameful, dude. Oh my fucking god!
As established, Chudlogic did actually end up being able to question Mutahar about his qualms, which led to what I would say was the primary motivation for me to make this video, as I would say it was the most egregious of all of Mutahar's lies. The conversation did get off to a bit of a rocky start though.
You guys got me all relaxed.
Chud feels better now. Chud feels better.
Mutahar, you lying fucking scumbag! What is your problem, dude? Why do you throw me under the bus with some dude that's got lolly in his videos? What is your problem?
Oh man.
Hello?
Oh my god, dude. Was that a bit? Is that a bit?
That is so good, man.
I just got mogged. I just got mogged.
You just got mogged. You just got low taper faded.
Hello?
Hello, how's it going, mate? You
Yeah,
good?
going good. I just plugged in my headset, sorry.
Okay.
For context, this conversation was primarily based around Chudlogic and Mutahar.
So, what are we saying? What are we saying? Do you think that was genuine? And Mutahar genuinely just plugged this headset in? Or do you think he was lying because he had generational trauma from the Brits and the Indians going back hundreds of years? Mutahar Herdant. I mean, at the end of the day, I've already long accepted, and I'll say it again, that was an L moment for me, okay? Obviously. You cannot possibly win when you're fucking spurging out. And someone just goes, hello? Oh, I just plugged my headset in, okay? You literally cannot win. But I accept that it created a very entertaining stream moment. So, you know, at least there's that I can take away from it.
However, Nicholas DiGiorio was present and Turkey Tom had some fleeting input towards the end. One of the first points I want to draw attention to is the fact that Mutahar consistently insisted throughout the entire conversation that he was willing to cut ties with Nux Taku and that it would be beneficial to bring Nux Taku on for a conversation. I'd like to point out that Mutahar was very clear in clarifying that this Nux Taku confrontation should happen on chudlogic or harmful opinions platforms and not his own.
Here's where my capitulation is, okay? I think for him to stay on a show and work with me directly, I'm not even talking about like just Caleb here, just with me. I think it would be better if he comes on your show, or not even your show, that's up to you. I don't want to decide your schedule or anything. He should come and explain these things pretty candidly. And if he can't do that, then I don't think he should be able to work with us in the future. I think that's a pretty fair way to go about it. I haven't seen the harmful opinion videos.
I mean, I'd be more than happy to speak to Nux Taku, but in fairness, I mean, Harmful Opinions made the video. He's the one that's got the more substantive critiques exactly of that. I've just watched his video about it. I'm obviously
if he's not willing to answer the critiques, then I don't think he should be working with us. I think that's a fair way to go about it, right? If he's not able to explain these critiques and explain his position in a...
Yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable.
You know,
Harmful Opinions made this video about it, and you know, I'd probably arrange for him to come on and say his piece too. He's happy to come on streams normally. And yeah, I just think if you're Nux Taku, I don't think is represented honestly, and if you can't do that, then yeah, that makes a position untenable, surely.
Yeah, if he can't explain his position, and if he can't explain some of this past behavior,
the size of Chud's ego by the end of this video will be interesting. See, I try to keep it grounded, right? I mean, I'm just a retard on the internet speaking about shit at the end of the day. And I tend to not, you know, I don't know, dude. I try not to watch stuff that is so much about me, but we're doing it today. We're having a little treat, okay? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's funny. It's funny for me to look back at this drama, and then there's like, obviously very funny moments where I look like a retard. I think that's funny. And then there's other points where I think I'm justifiably angry about stuff. There's other points where, and I don't think he really went into it. He could have gone into it more, arguably. But, you know, I think I've got reasons as to why I did it. But I was too soft with the first time round talking about this. And I was too, you know, willing to accept the bullshit when this first happened. But yeah, I mean, that was a product of just, I mean, I was mind raped. I was basically totally mind raped. I had no idea what was going on. And then the podcast episode came out after this insistence that, no, the other podcast episode hadn't been filmed and that was it was all about. And I was just like, okay, like, I'm basically mind raped. I've got all these massive channels. You were scared of the size of his audience. You didn't want to rock the boat. No. It's not about rocking the boat, right? It's about there's massive channels with way bigger influence than me that could squash me like a bug if they wanted to. And I was basically outmaneuvered in every possible way and lied to, and things were misrepresented. And like what, like I didn't know what I could possibly say or do that would bring light to the situation. So I just I even messaged DK and was like, dude, this situation is so fucked. I don't even know what to make of this anymore. Just put out a video of that segment. And I can't remember which segment exactly. And I was like, that's that. There's nothing more I can say about it, you know? So it's quite fortunate that this happened. And then this brought out more lies, which then were exposed later when people started looking at Mutahar's background. But yeah. The Don messaged Chud behind the scenes and told him to stay in line. No such message occurred. No such message occurred that I was told to stay in line. I was obviously given information, which I think was probably true, but that was preyed upon by Mutahar and Nux Taku to spin a narrative that was beneficial to cover up his own shortcomings in how he dealt with all of this and his lies in how he dealt with all of this. But I do think there was actually problems behind the scenes. It's just that wasn't really relevant to the the Nux Taku shit. That was like a separate issue. And I think the truth of it is that Mutahar never had any intention to cut off Nux Taku. He was hoping this would all blow over, and he just wanted to put on a face of presentation that he was going to cut ties because he knew how bad it looked to continue to keep ties with someone that is such a despicable degenerate, essentially. So yeah. Yes, I know. Yes, the cabal gave the orders. No, I'm just trying to say that even though there's obviously rumors about it and memes about it, it was never about you can't say this. It was about these big channels are saying and doing things and making these moves that I can't even discern what's happening because, you know, I don't know, like, Gamer from Mars. I don't know Oompaville, right? I don't know who these people are. Or not that Gamer from Mars was really involved, but it just seemed like moves were being made that was like, you know, a wrong move could lead to some sort of attack or criticism on my channel that could cause me massive problems, you know, and I didn't have the information or evidence or anything to prove my case because it was completely kind of shut down, and all I had was the idea that he'd said something on my stream and then later go on to say something different, you know? Exactly, they're business partners, they work together, you know, very difficult situation to navigate. But even then, I think, you know, that's not to say that I did everything perfectly, because I didn't. I definitely had shortcomings in how I handled it, and, you know, I should have stuck to my guns and gone a bit harder at the time. I still could have navigated these issues while still offering more criticism originally when it happened, when there was that obvious, you know, and clear contradiction, you know? And I think as much as people like to shit on the Gandros for being obsessed with this, right? Which, you know, fair enough, he is a bit obsessed with this situation. In fairness to him, it was like things like when he sent me the transcript of the call. Because you've got to remember, I'm not sat there, I didn't know this conversation was going to happen, right? So I'm not sat here with direct knowledge of exactly what was said in that call. Because I've only got a recollection of it. But then, when the Kandros sends me this transcript, it's like, right, this is it. This is the specifics of it, right? This is the specifics of what he said. And then it was made much easier, you know, to lay out, right, here's what you said, here's how it's different, etc., 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 you know? So there's things like that that come about with time that give you more information to make a kind of stronger case. Because, like I say, I didn't know that this conversation was going to occur on this stream. And this was like, what? A couple of months, I think, after it had originally happened. So I didn't have the exact knowledge of what was said in the call, you know? But yeah. Anyway, like I say, I could have done more. That's a reasonable perspective on my actions, I think.
Then I don't think he should be working with us in the future. And maybe down the podcast road, we might not even bring him back or bring him onto it if he can't explain these positions. I think that's a fair way to go about it.
To be fair, you could argue this is just because Harmful Opinions and Chudlogic are more knowledgeable on Nux Taku's wrongdoing, while Mutahar was claiming innocence through ignorance throughout the entire conversation. My opinion, however, is that he had other motivations for not platforming the confrontation himself. I mean, for one, Mutahar's channel, Someordinarygamers, is multitudes larger than Chudlogic or Harmful Opinions channels combined. Secondly, I do not believe that Mutahar wants to draw his audience's attention to the situation, and I actually believe this is a repeated behavior, as I will demonstrate shortly. As I've already stated though, I do believe this conversation includes the single most egregious lie that Mutahar told.
So I just, sorry, I was like taking a shower and all that shit, but I was watching the Harmful Opinions video. I watched through a decent amount of it. Yeah, it seems to me like Nux is a completely unprincipled person, basically, on this and basically willing to use the degenerate stuff when it's convenient, and then, you know, when it's called out, he's like, well, I never really did that, you know? I feel like that's, yeah. And also, like, if those videos aren't age restricted, I feel like they definitely should be, because you probably shouldn't be showing, you know, like that on a website where...
Oh my God, why are people talking about stealing the music, okay? First of all, it's the Hotline Miami soundtrack, okay? So it's not like the chudlogic music. I know people associate with these videos. And secondly, He's obviously using it because it thematically links to me as a creator, being often used in the fucking intros. Hence why he's using it for this segment. Oh my god.
Or whatever, but
no, it's
even
not just
censored
you,
stuff
Hannah.
like
It's other
deflection,
people
showing
too.
That consistently to a website full of minors in the context of like, haha, funny joke, and then, you know, who knows what they get into as a result of that. That's basically my takeaway.
I made the song. I made it.
Wait, you shipped
Yeah.
more of those videos?
I mean, Nux's whole thing on YouTube is like reactions, right?
Yeah, stuff's not good.
I've got nothing to say, bro. I've said it all. My energy is depleted, okay? My social batteries are at 0.
Let me just express to you how truly improbable that is. I mean, for one, all Mutahar really had to do...
Yeah, see, the thing is, at this point, I don't think that people widely knew what the content that Mutahar had done with Nux Taku, unless you'd watched it at the time or something. So I don't think anyone in that call knew of the extent of the links, of the fact that he'd watched this material on stream with him and stuff. So it was only after, again, credit to Nicandros, okay, actually looking into it and being like, well, hang on a minute, there's these examples of you watching this material, so it seems completely beyond the realms of believability that you had no idea about this, right?
Figure out that Nux Taku's content was based around or is just click on his channel once. When accounting for the fact that Mutahar and Nux Taku are very clearly close online associates, even friends, I find it very, very unlikely that Mutahar did not click on Nux Taku's page at least once. I mean, a significant amount of Mutahar's content focuses around investigations online, and I'm supposed to believe that this guy didn't even know the fucking content his co-host made? Okay, sure, Mutahar can feasibly claim that he did not know Nux Taku's content focused around and if all he did with the guy was host a podcast together. But that wasn't the only collaboration they did.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point from DK. It actually shows a care in terms of making this video. Because obviously you guys who watch my content know how it connects to me because it's often used in the segments that get uploaded. But obviously, you know, it shows that he's got some knowledge and some insight into this beyond just a casual observer watching it, making some, you know, shitter video about it. I mean, not that anyone's made a shitter video about it. In fact, a lot of the videos have been very good about this topic. But I don't know, I think it's quite, you know, it shows a bit of care and attention, you know?
Did together.
Ah, my favorite series has returned at long last. Me showing cursed Shmentai to my friends and torturing them. Today with me I have Mutahar from Someordinarygamers, Quite, and Oompaville. This is your first time here, and I have to make a good impression.
No problem. You've already made the perfect impression, man. you got me at like 5:30 watching it on a nice work day. Well, I gotta say I'm impressed because we're at 0-0 in the time code, and this girl already has cum on her face. Like, just already globules of cum. Right.
Why
feel
are
like
you
I
saying
probably
this?
need
How
to
do you know this isn't yogurt?
That certainly is not the consistency of motherfucking
I'm a bit
yogurt,
worried.
that's for sure.
Anime
worried.
yogurt has a different, you know.
No, dude, look at the shading on the yogurt. No, the cum straight. Let's just be real. That's straight. Look at the shading, dude. It's red.
Wait, you shipped
Yeah.
more of those videos?
So he teleports to another dimension, and as soon as
Yes.
the teleportation ends, he comes.
Yes, they're in like an RPG dimension.
Oh, that explains it. This is a gamer's fantasy, right?
Hell yeah.
She literally is about to cast a heal spell with cum on her face. What the
No, not just with it on her face. As
gonna-
I told you,
oh,
it
she's
needs to
gonna
be
eat it.
ingested. Let's go. I think this is one of the most important lines to really understand exactly what his role
You can activate a woman's latent power using your semen.
is here.
Dude, this is what's so difficult, though. I don't, you know, I mean, I'm just covering it to be on 100% safe. But, like, this is the trouble with some of this stuff, is it's difficult to really conceptualize how insane it is without showing it to some degree. And censoring it like that is probably about as good as you're going to get. But it's like, this stuff is just completely insane to just have casually reacting to as part of a YouTube video when it is so explicitly pornographic. You know, I don't know what age that character was necessarily, right? But it's like they just sat around having a laugh about it. Only later for Mutahar to act like he had no idea that Nux Taku did this type of content, you know?
You can activate a woman's latent power using
Whoa,
your
dude.
holy
Let's Let's freaking go.
This is why Japan is just leading the pack, man. Goddamn.
Wait, you should
Yeah.
one of those videos?
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are the universe. I feel like there's definitely great imbalances. Like I'm developing the questions that if he has a child with any of these people using a super, does the child come out with like godlike powers?
Also, I don't know if I feel like I've said every single take there is to say about this already. So whether this is new or not, I'm not actually sure. But I did actually follow up with Mutahar, and this is the last message I ever sent to him, in fact. But I did follow up with him, and I sent him a message and said, any update on the Nux Taku convo? Like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was just to kind of be like, you know, is this happening or not? Just so I had like an idea, because people were asking me about it, and I never got a response. And I think with all of this that's having happened, it's like, well, obviously he had no interest in facilitating a conversation. No, they didn't reply to me. And I think it's probably clear why. Because in having a conversation with Nux Taku about this, there's a strong possibility that he would be implicated, because Nux Taku could just turn around and say, well, yeah, I mean, I did do this, but also there's some that Mutahar was involved in. So by having that conversation, there's a strong possibility that Mutahar is also implicated, and then he's got some difficult questions to answer. So he obviously never replied, because it was, I would guess, a self-interested thing of not wanting to help bring about the platforming of someone that could say stuff that would implicate him. That's my guess, I would assume, because, you know, maybe you could argue, oh, it's just because he wanted to continue to work with them and there not be the pressure on or whatever. But I think that it probably is that he recognised this would look bad. Because at this point when this occurred, I don't think this was widely known. I don't think it was known that Mutahar widely had done this. And so there wasn't an obvious inconsistency. Like, for example, I don't recall in chat anyone pointing out, like, oh, hang on a sec, Mutahar used to watch this material with him. Because I just think that although it happened, it wasn't one of those things that's like a known aspect of the law of these people, you know? That was a fundamental issue with Mutahar's Nux video. He takes a portion of damage each time he swings at Nux Taku because they were so close for so long, so he used very mid attacks. Yeah. Yeah, like I say, I don't recall it. Maybe some of you did say, but obviously being focused on the conversation, it was quite tricky because, you know, and I don't know, did it? Like, if the entire chat had been going, oh, well, hang on a second, then sent links and stuff like that, or maybe even put in a Discord atting me, no, Chud, look at this, Mutahar did the stuff with Nux Taku. And I'm not saying it's anyone's fault, it's just to point out that it wasn't a widely known thing, that in the course of a conversation it was brought up to the degree where it would be noticed, and then you can pull him up on it. It was just kind of like, you know, more discussed and kind of brought to the forefront later as like Nicandros made the video about it.
Christ being born, because that's the only like next level that I'm witnessing here, you know? It's like, how do you live in a universe where like you have that power and there's not world governments that come after you to cut your balls off for like scientific stuff?
Dude,
right?
this is only episode 1. There are 4 episodes to Isekai Harem Monogatari.
Well, let me just write that down on my big note sheet to watch later. Only for the plot, though. Only for the plot.
You're invested.
I mean, Nux's whole thing on YouTube is like reactions, right?
Mm-hmm. It's called, wait, what's the thing called? No, Knee Summer.
You know what knee means?
What's, no, film it again, knee?
It means sister.
Oh.
Yeah, this is me.
Man.
Third year high school student.
Holy shit, she's got more cake than a
This is my cousin.
Dude, was this in the Nicandros' video? This feels like different clips. So yeah, this is apparently a third-year high school student.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money?
It's not pornographic here, it's just like a woman. It looks like a woman.
Or I would reveal to the world that he's actually an untouchable.
Thank you for the 333.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money
Nux.
off depressed people?
To be clear, it was well known by a few, and that's precisely why there was quiet fervor for your intercessions.
Thank you for the $10.
What the fuck?
What were they kidding about?
No, they were not
girl?
kidding about thick girl, bro.
They knew what they were saying. This is not clickbait, okay?
Look at how sad she is. She's got all those back problems, dude.
She's one of my many cousins who's willing to help a younger brother cousin like me.
Okay, I don't think we've seen these clips before. This is fucking wild, dude. What? I mean, look, I think broadcasting it on YouTube is just you're distributing this material further, and you've got to take some responsibility for that in terms of like the original coverage. And again, it's difficult because it's like covering it. You kind of need to show some of it to show what it is, but I think it's really the original video. Well, the thing is like, I don't necessarily have an issue with like looking at some weird shit and laughing at it. I think that's, you know, like that's just what people do. It's the putting it out there publicly that I find so insane. You know, a couple of lads getting together and looking at some weird shit and going, oh, that's fucking insane, bro. Or, you know, I'm like, whatever. It's like, yeah, people, particularly younger people, like teenagers, early 20s, do weird shit like this. I think you grow out of it eventually. But it's the fact that he's putting it onto YouTube and they're doing it as a collective activity for others to watch. You know? That's the thing that I'm just like, why do that? And then if you do that, then you've got to kind of live with that, right? Even as time goes on, I think you've then got to live with that decision and be like, well, yeah, I did do that. And, you know, maybe you don't care and you think it's no big deal. Well, that's your position. It's no big deal. But you don't then get to moral frog about it later. Do you know what I mean? You don't get to moral frog about it later and get on your high horse about it. You've got to account for the fact that you've publicly distributed this material. And, of course, people are going to be annoyed with you when you then try and flip on it. And they're going to point out your hypocrisy. You know?
Oh, Sweet Home Alabama, here we go.
What the hell does that even mean?
I don't know, dude. Like a younger brother, cousin, bro. When you start mixing like 3 or 4 different fucking relations to each other, that gets me wild, man.
Wait, you showed
Yeah.
one of those videos?
She stole his phone.
Dude, this is actually a great video, man. He's literally got him banged to rights. He's literally nailing him here every single turn. That little, he showed porn in the videos is so good, man.
Yeah,
And showed him the picture that he was fapping to.
Man, that is like the fucking sister that isn't like in tune with your brain right there.
Yeah, right? And then,
Yeah, bro, great example. Mutahar just cried about YouTube using porn ads while reacting to lolly videos with the homies half a dozen times. Yeah. Right? And it's fine if you've changed your mind about it. But one would hope that if you were to want a moral frog about this issue, you would say, you know, look, guys, just to be completely upfront with you, I have really fucked up in the past when I was younger. 5 years ago. He was younger. 4 years ago, whatever you want to say about it. But it's just to say that I fucked up and I came to recognize in doing that it was wrong. And that's why I've got such a strong stance against it now. You know, it's like, you get this with criminals. Criminals have a change of heart, or they learn and are rehabilitated. And then the whole ethos of what they do is, I used to be a criminal, but I've realized that was wrong now. And now I turn around my knowledge to help people that are the victims of crimes. It's like, that's the sort of energy that you'd expect, you know? It would be like if so let's say next month, I spoke about how harmful and destructive drama content was. And I spoke out about how it negatively impacts the people that are covered, and people are, you know, like attacked off the back of people talking about their controversies. And I made no mention of the fact that my channel was a drama channel. Do you know what I mean? It would be like that. And people would rightly be like, well, hang on a minute, you've just done a bunch of drama content. You know, I think there's a time aspect where you have to kind of, I think, have a certain period of time which demonstrates that reflection. And then when you do twist it round and you start having the other perspective, you then say, okay, mea culpa, I used to do this sort of thing. I've changed my ways. I've realized how bad it is now. And there's like literally the time thing you could argue, but that seems to be used more as an obfuscation, hoping that people forget, because he never fucking mentions it. He never says it. You don't have to fucking whip yourself on the back at the start of every video. You just have to say, I learned that this is bad, and I used to do this thing, which, you know, I think was distributing this material, and it's wrong. But he's never said that. He never does that.
Then she blackmails him to
oh my god. Dude, what a terrible tragedy this
You can't see anything. It's literally just like blurred, like completely censored. But presumably this is some sort of incestuous thing happening on the screen.
It is going man.
But anyway, we all want to know how he managed to take that picture, right? Obviously. It all started on a nice spring day with cherry blossoms everywhere.
The perfect idyllic day to take a nice fucking candid shot, right?
This is when God comes.
Oh, dude, come on. God, dude.
Let's go. God is the greatest wingman.
Hang on a sec. Isn't that a schoolgirl's outfit? Wait. Isn't that a Japanese schoolgirl outfit?
This guy is a spineless slave to his audience.
I don't know anime
Great
that well.
content, mate.
Guys, help me out here. Bro! Dude, that's wild.
God's like, sure, buddy, you get to fuck your hot sister. I'll give you something more too. Fuck it. Yeah,
this is like literal divine intervention that we're looking at right here.
I feel like it is because nobody would take that shot so well. Like, it's in focus and everything. You got a panty shot, like fuck, dude.
Dude, you're a YouTuber and you can't get your videos in focus.
Dude, I can't focus in order, and this dude's already got like candid shots up the ass, bro.
The rest of it's just different cousins and stuff.
Wait, he's got more hot cousins? Fuck.
No, this dude has tons of cousins. It's all about the cousins. The good news is, this is the final video. Well, it's unfortunate that this is the final video. I'm sure that you're just as sad as I am. This one is the depths of depravity. This is the 5 rules of handling your younger sisters.
What the fuck?
These are the 4 younger sisters.
Oh my god, dude!
Bro, they're exceptionally young. Exceptionally young. Jeez.
That was like giga censored. Oh shit. Whoa, yo, wait, whoa, bro, wait. I clicked the wrong thing. Oh, dude, misclick. It was extremely heavily censored. I'm just playing it safe, just in case. Listen, I don't know what this guy is a fucking loose cannon. I don't know what he's gonna show. No idea, guys. What? No clue. Mutahar had no idea about any of this stuff, apparently. Right, okay, dude, okay, bro.
That's right, that aforementioned series in which Nux Taku showed popular online personalities the most degenerate shit he could dredge up from his gooning folder was a series that Mutahar appeared on.
Wait, you showed more in those videos?
Bro, they're exceptionally young.
So, did Mutahar just forget this uncomfortable...
Dude. I was flabbergasted. Dude, you see it from my eyes, right? Put yourself in my brain, as fearful as that is for you, okay? There's been this drama, and this guy has come on to me to respond to this, and I've kind of confronted him about some of the shit he said, and some of the lies and inconsistencies. And in the course of doing that, he, in my perspective, lies again, and acts like he had no idea this was going on when there's video footage of him reacting to it with Nux Taku. It was very flabbergasting, yeah. And I think that's the other thing that I think that I would kind of reflect on the way I handled this is I think it took me too long to realize what an insipid, disgusting liar Mutahar is, you know? And I don't know if it would have really changed anything because I didn't know at the time we had that second kind of confrontation when Nick and Tom were there. I didn't know about the other stuff, so I don't know if it would have made a difference. But it's like, you know, I guess that, you know, I don't know. At some point, I probably should have recognized earlier what an absolute wretched liar Mutahar was, you know. So yeah. You're too trusting. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm too trusting. Yeah. Chud learned a valuable lesson. Never be nice to Indians. To add to your point from before, Mutahar made an entire video about Dropout, which is based on a high school, lolly by his standards, wearing more frogs about porn ads today. I was too fair. Yeah, I was too fair. I was too fair. No, I was just, yeah, I think that, I don't know why. It was just, I didn't rationalize it as he is a disgusting liar and fraud and is a liar who saves his own skin with his dishonesty. You know, I just didn't get to grips with that as soon as I could have done, I think. So, yeah. I don't know why this blew in my head. I mean, I think you could argue that there was sweeping that I did initially, which was a product of not having the full insight. Sure. But I think later on, it wasn't that I was sweeping for Mutahar. It's just I didn't have the requisite knowledge of the depths of his material and what he'd done to know how to challenge specifically this idea that he had no idea about what Nux Taku was up to, you know? Yeah. I think maybe could have gone into more stuff about the fact he worked with him and didn't know about his channel and how absurd that was. Probably could have done something around that. But yeah. I think Oreo talking to you behind the scenes gave a sense of security. I think you can see when I talk about it, right? I'm clearly like, well, why did he come on the show and say that? So I've still got some doubt. You covered for a co-worker.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I
somewhat
make
at the start, sure.
I
could take that, yeah. But I think that you know, I'm willing to accept some responsibility for that. I just don't want it to be missed or not taken into account strongly that Mutahar is a disingenuous, lying, deceptive freak who will lie impulsively to save his own skin. Like, that is a very big part of this. So it's like, it's got to be taken into account accordingly. That, yeah, sure, there's more I could have done. I could have said this, I could have done that. But the fundamental issue at play here is that Mutahar is a disgusting liar, you know? And that governed a lot of how this drama went down. Because if Mutahar had been honest at various points, right? None of this. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's not my fault, but I would agree that, like, you don't expect a well-respected YouTuber with over 2 million subscribers to be a total slimy liar fuck. Yeah, I think I bought into the image of him too much, I think I had this impression of him that was governed by his reputation, by the fact he had a big channel, and that guided a lot of my perspective about this, you know? Look, as humans, we want to assume the best about others, learn from the experience. Okay. Or, wait, okay, listen, okay? I bully bullies. Used to mod for Tipster, okay? I'd save your fucking bullshit, okay, bro? I get where you're coming from, but maybe save it, you fucking wretch, okay? You used to fucking mod for that freak, so give it a fucking break, okay? Anyway, listen. I don't mind a little, but I agree, I've got some self-criticism as well. But you're there fucking, learn from this. Why don't you learn from being a fucking loser that modded for Tipster for so long, you fucking idiot? Holy fuck, bro. Jesus Christ, dude. Learn from this. Yeah, what do you fucking think, you retard? Of course, I've learned a lot from this situation, bro. Anyway. Anyway, listen. Okay? I'm someone that likes to reflect, and I like to think about it and think, what did I do wrong? And I definitely have got things that I did wrong. But I do think Mira has got a point that you don't expect someone with a massive channel with so much respect to be as maliciously dishonest and as much of a liar as Mutahar was, you know? Like, it's not just on one occasion. Repeatedly throughout the drama, he lied again. He lied initially when he said about the podcast ending and flip-flopping on that, right? You know, there was further lies about the podcast not coming out, and then the podcast come out. He then gets confronted about it, and he lies about his level of knowledge of what Nux Taku content was being done. Okay? You see what I mean? It's like, just repeatedly. And at any point, he could have just said, hey, here's the truth of it. And then that would have mitigated and prevented a lot of this further drama happening.
collaboration he did with this multi-million subscriber YouTube channel in which they watched what could be considered lolly together? Or did Mutahar
get into cybersecurity / using Tor knowing his interests in lolicon / hentai? He's not a CS guy.
I'm not getting into that part of the conversation, but I'll let you guys decide that again.
just make a spur-of-the-moment rat-like decision to lie and claim ignorance in an attempt to save his own hide and his demented, probably lolicon VTuber buddy? I think it's the latter. I mean, for one, he's already outright acknowledged this collab.
When you're collaborating with somebody, it's like, obviously you're just sitting there making a video. We haven't done like a full background to look onto what his content is or anything. Obviously, I was on a few collaborations with him when he was doing like memes and like the game shows with like 15 creators. And that's pretty.
I thought, you don't think... You always make me feel bad when I have a finny rage now. I don't like it. People need to be more angry at me. I formally apologise for modding for the lolly freak known as Tipster. I swear I'm going to do better moving forward. God bless America.
Pretty much the extent of my collaborations. Behind the scenes, he's only been like a kind person to me, and we've had just, you know, mature conversations that are well outside the scope of YouTube or just discussing business. I've never really... He's never really shown me lolicon in the background.
Yeah, I don't know if I would personally describe watching him.
Wait.
The scope of YouTube or just discussing business. I've never really... He's never really shown me lolicon in the background.
Yeah.
He's never really shown me lolicon in the background. Is that like a sort of snaky language? Because it might be true that he hasn't shown him it in the background, but they have shown it in the foreground and looked on stream together. Like, he's saying it as if he knows that these videos exist without admitting it. And then he's got some sort of plausible deniability to say, oh, he never showed it to me in the background. Oh, yeah, I watched the video with him, but I said in the background. Right? Is that a crazy thought, or is that something he's done there? Dude.
I don't know if I would personally describe watching him together as watching memes, but sure, buddy. The aforementioned Accountress was the person to draw attention to this, and he claims that some of the content they watched in the collab video, specifically the stuff that Mutahar said,
bro, they're exceptionally young
too, has a game based on it with tags attached, classing it as including urination among other things, but most importantly, lolly.
No, I know what he's saying. He's admitting he did the videos and saying they're different. Yeah, but he's not saying of the nature of what the videos were. So he's simultaneously downplaying the videos and acting like they're nothing, while saying he didn't show me lolly in the background. Like, it's very specific language that he's using to wriggle around and wriggle out, potentially if it gets brought up, that he did watch lolicon on stream with Nux Taku, on a video with Nux Taku. Oh god, what's this?
I thought Muda was moving on from talking politics and drama. What changed? No, I'm actually going at like grifters. That's about it. Like, I'm actually just like fucking leveling it. You know, the problem with like gaming and shit is like when you're talking about gaming and stuff, when you're talking about like video games, like Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out and you're probably talking like, oh yeah, the game's gonna have bad gameplay or something. Or maybe it's just like Ubislop with like open world markers and shit. You have to share your arguments with people that are literally not even talking about the game. It's just fucking woke nonsense bullshit. Like, you have to be arguing with stupid stuff like that, you know? Like, simple as that. What are your thoughts on Wine 10? Wine 10? I don't know. What's Wine 10? Oh,
So I'm assuming that's the clip there. So he's basically talking about drama, but just formulating it in a way that he can go after people that are broadly unpopular amongst his component of the internet. Dude. Well, I can go after Grums. Okay. Oh, very irritating.
Which, let me remind you, is illegal to even look at where Mutahar lives. To be clear, Nicandros did not find what the exact video was tagged as, but rather the tags for a game that was based on the contents of the video. Now, you may have noted that Mutahar actually said that he had been on a few collabs with Nux Taku. Well, the other one that Mutahar failed to elaborate on was from another of Nux Taku's staple degenerate series, or more specifically, the Rule 34 art tournaments.
Yo, all, and welcome to the newest episode of the Rule 34 tournament. No. Woo! Here is the bracket for the first round and such. This time being...
Okay, wait, maybe this is a bit more Acceptable.
Here is the bracket
YouTube,
for the
whatever.
first round.
So Carson versus Socks, Huggabees versus Nags, Muta versus Umpa, Sens versus Noble. So I'm guessing what they show Rule 34 porn of all these creators or something.
And such. This time, being that we are an educational channel here, this will technically be the first ever Rule 63 tournament. For those of you that are unaware, Rule 63...
Oh no, they're all the creators that are on there and they're fighting each other. No, sorry, I got it wrong. I didn't realise, I thought it was just Mutahar on this, it was other... They're fighting each other. Okay, I'm gonna be careful.
It's a rule of...
I'll link the video if you want to watch unedited, uncensored. I'll link it, guys. I'm just like to play it very safe. Okay, I like to play it very safe. It's fine to have it in a YouTube video. I think I just, you know, I'm cautious. I'm cautious by my nature. So we'll do that. There's the timestamp if you want to watch unedited at some point. And I'm gonna just do this, so we just have to be on the safe side.
The internet, for every fictional character, there exists a gender-swapped counterpart of that character. You will have to come up with characters, but they must all be specifically male characters, and we will be looking up the amount of head or, well, other iterations of... I can't say this is the first 5 minutes of the video. I'm gonna get blasted again, so you understand. Anywho, the first round. Mutahar versus Umpi. Yo, Umpi, Muta. What a wonderful time for us to all be alone in this voice call together because we just started a podcast.
We did indeed.
Yes, we did.
Yup, the first episode is out at the time of recording this. The Some Ordinary podcast. It just started and it's a blast.
Wow.
So, in the video doing this degen fucking hentai review shit, they specifically mentioned about having just set up a podcast. And we're supposed to believe that Mutahar had no idea about this. It doesn't show anything, it's fine. We can continue. What? Just obviously complete bullshit. Obviously lies. Obviously complete fucking lies. Mutanuant.
When you look at that, their podcast was founded around then. It seems to me as if Mutahar was quite aware of the type of content that Nux Taku made. Anyway, before I get to establishing Mutahar's past act of lying in a remarkably similar situation, let me talk about how he responded to being caught in the lie I just explained.
Yeah, but I'm not the one making the conclusive statements.
On November 30th, 2024, Mutahar left a response on a Reddit.
Bro. Dude, anyway. This video is actually very well researched, clearly. Even little details like the intro music, the Hotline Miami soundtrack being used when I'm being spoken about. Very detailed, specific knowledge of that. The details, I think, are unimpeachable, I think. I think that this is a very coherent, specifically described, consistent narrative that aligns with my understanding of it all. I think that if you want to go after this from like a pro-Mutahar perspective, I think that I don't see how, like, what could you point out that's incorrect or wrong? You could maybe point to certain assertions or opinions maybe that you disagree with, but the actual facts of the matter and what occurred, I don't think you can. I mean, this is why the response to this is just talking about his name or talking about how he's a small YouTuber or some other bullshit. Like, there's nothing. Like, this is signed, sealed, and delivered. This shit happened, you know?
Reddit thread featuring Nicandrus's video, in which he stated that he did not know Nux Taku was showing him anything illegal, and that he was livid at Nux Taku for showing him it. Following the response to the Reddit thread, Mutahar released a 38-minute long video titled Post Nux Clarity, in which he consistently repeated the point that he's looking to take accountability for his association with Nux Taku, and reiterated that he was looking to cut ties with him. A little bit ironic considering this video was shortly deleted and there has been no sign of it since anywhere near any of Mutahar's platforms, but regardless, he says a lot of wild and damning shit. Not because the statements themselves are bad, but because they seemingly condemn and contradict Mutahar himself. Take this one, for example.
Now, inside the video, inside Nux's presentation, it kind of came off as like just a cursed little and the reality of it is I never really watched his collaboration, but if you take the name that Nee Summer has had and put it into my anime list, which I realistically should have done at the time, you can see the synopsis is Yuta Yamayuchi is a average high school student, right? So right there, I'm not going to play the whole semantics, oh, is this really lolly game? Like, I don't even care if somebody is like 18 or on the cusp of like turning 19. At the end of the day, high school can very much involve a minor. And when you scroll down and go to the information, it is a OVA by a studio known as Rabbit Gate with no licensors, but the genre is in fact
a little bit bizarre considering his past on-stream conversation with chat in which he said this.
Bro, yes!
I mean, like, I've watched, I like saw hentai when I was younger, but I don't like actively watch hentai. I don't know, man, like, hentai is kind of weird, you know? Because, like, I feel like when you watch hentai, like, you have, like, the normal hentai with, like, just humans and shit, and it's just like, why not just watch actual porn? But then, like, the most, like, popular hentais that, like, I get recommended on, like, any porn website are, like, really f***ed up ones. Like, there was this, like, one hentai, okay? And, like, it was really f***ed up. Like, SJWs would, like, blow their brains out over this. Like, it would have them on, like, super to watch. So, like, the f***ed up part about this hentai was, so they had this like story, all right, and like SJWs would hate it. So basically the story was like they had like oni chans or whatever the they called it. I don't know, like it was oni something.
You're not getting recommended. I mean, I'm pretty sure all these websites work on the principle that it recommends you more of what you're watching. So I don't think, you know, I don't think you're going to be getting recommended hentai unless you're specifically looking that up in the first place. But also, it's like he went too far in the other direction. So I am obviously quite a strong critic of this lolicon stuff and the culture around it and the mentality of people. That being said, if someone is 18, if you're looking at someone that is 18, right? You could say it's a bit creepy maybe or something maybe, but I don't think it's necessarily pedophilic. I think that's like, I mean, if someone is, you know, an adult, they're an adult, and you're not then a pedophile for looking at. I mean, I think looking at it or whatever, or getting turned on a bit, you're not a pedophile there, right? The specific issue is if you're looking at either a depiction of a child and getting aroused by that, or if you're looking at a character that is of supposed adult age, but they're in high school. And the fact that they're in high school is a source of your arousal, right? I think first you're a pedophile, and the second, you're not like a pedophile necessarily, but it's just like there's something to be said in regards to you playing with sort of concepts of someone being in school, right? That's more pedo adjacent. That's more noncy, or something like that, you know? Because yeah, I think that if you're developing arousal of the idea that someone is in high school, I think that is of some concern. And whilst I don't think you should necessarily be like arrested for something like that, like I think reasonably you could be prevented from working at a school. Like, you know, it just seems fairly obvious to me that if you are getting aroused by someone on the basis they're in high school, it would seem like an unnecessary risk for you to then work in a high school because that is the source of some sort of arousal or kink that you have. And it's probably best just to eliminate any risk from that situation. Do you see what I mean? Like, I'm not saying they should be fucking locked away, but it creates a reasonable concern if that is the source of your arousal, some sort of fantasy or concept of them, you know, being in a setting which traditionally has younger people in it, like a high school or something like that. You know? Like, there's levels is what I'm saying. But, you know, if you are looking at someone and the source of arousal is they are like an adult, a naked adult, and that's why you think they're hot because they're an adult and they're naked. I don't really see the kind of angle of pedophilia or something there. Like, what? They're an adult. They're a fucking adult. Like, you're allowed to get turned on by adults as an adult. That's actually the normal thing to do. So, yeah. I can't control my flaccid dick for becoming hard. What if a pedo gets off to a midget pretending to be a child? Your take, Chud. What if the midget is an adult? They're not being harmed by that act necessarily because they're an adult. I think the issue is that the person is deriving arousal from the concept of that person being a child. And whilst that in and of itself isn't necessarily, like, if a midget is happily engaging in this, I mean, it's weird, but I mean, fucking, they're an adult at the end of the day. But my concern would be, what risks are you taking by playing with and furthering your sexual proclivities in this manner? Like, I don't know, that seems like a bit of a risk to me, and I think that you're probably better off seeking out some sort of psychiatric support rather than pretending to, you know, well, rather than fucking a midget pretending they're a child. Something like that would be my take.
But there would be like, no, it was Dropout. That was the name, Dropout. Don't. So basically, the premise is, it's like, if you're not smart, like if you're not a smart chick, they turn you into like a public urinal where like you just get on a daily, like you're just getting smashed, and that's just what it is. So like that, dude, it's like a weird anime, and it's like, so like I like saw like 5 minutes of it, and it has like these scenes where like these guys are like smashing pussy, and halfway it switches to like this final fight like X-ray mode. We're just like seeing like it's like you're just seeing like just the absolute destruction of a human being. It's so like the animation.
Okay, Puffo Pie Lolly. Okay, you look. You may be a lolly for all I know, but you sound fairly reasonable in this comment. Basically, your point is the details around lolly poses a risk to your mind. You don't quite know every risk, but it's the same vibe you might have for a furry working in animal care. Yeah, I think people don't understand when it comes to, like, kids. An abundance of caution is the watchword that these organizations use. So it's not that you can necessarily say, well, this has got a high chance of happening. Or there's a definitive chance of this happening. You know, it's just there's a risk, could be a 5% risk, but we'll eliminate that risk just to really eliminate and reduce the chances of, you know, there being a negative occurrence that can happen, because the consequences of one negative occurrence happening could be a lifetime of horrors and trauma for an individual. So you're best off eliminating that risk, and they can go and work at a place that isn't full to the brim of children, you know?
Was good, but the concept was so f***ed up. It was like recommended on like Pornhub, but I had to watch it. Like it was like Dropout or something. Like I had to see it. I'm like, well, what's so hot about a Dropout? Like, what is this? Dude, weird, bro. Disgusting. Like there was this like, so basically there's like this class, right, of like elite chads, and they all get their own public like urinal, like chick, like their own like and so basically this one dude's like is like who he had a crush on. So basically the school, like basically that's what it is. So he's like, I can't accept the that's so wrong. I respect you too much, me lady. She leaves and she becomes like a public it's weird, dude. It's weird. Like it's the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
Sure, he was insisting on the Dropout hair being weird, but he still watched the whole thing to the extent that he was
crazy. Girlfriend wanted to do a fantasy situation where she pretended to be a high school girl. I reluctantly she wouldn't hook up with me and spread rumors about me being gay to the football team.
Dude. Thank you for the $10.
In-depth explanation of the plot, which, let me remind you, according to Mutahar's own logic, would have been lollipop, as it was based around schoolgirls being turned into urinals, which most definitely would be illegal to view in Canada. Anyway, disregarding the fact that he labeled the content he previously described watching as lolly, he also covered a lot of the same shit that I did, and oh look, even had an agreement with me.
A bit too middle school. You know, when Shadman is saying a bit too middle school,
Regardless, as I established, Mutahar also repeatedly made the point that he was cutting ties with Nux Taku and that he didn't even want to continue a friendship with the guy.
So as far as there being a bridge between me and Nux Taku, it doesn't exist. And it won't ever exist. And honestly, looking at some of these clips again, and some of these thumbnails that have been changed around, and again, some of the...
Wouldn't Muta be considered a pedophile because he said, we watched lolly material while saying the idea of it makes you a pedo? He said this on stream last year when Vosh was the topic. I mean, if you said that, that's a really fucking dumb take. But I mean, you know, people on Kiwi Farms went and looked up what Vosh had on his computer in order to establish what it was. I don't think those people are pedophiles, right? it's like, it's the arousal. Like, the arousal of it, that's the thing that makes you have those proclivities, because you're getting aroused by it. It's like, if I, obviously, don't worry guys, I'm not going to do this, okay? But let's say this picture was lolly, okay? Let's say that this picture was lolly. I'm just checking it's not got any of my personal information on. I should probably just get a blank sheet of paper for this, okay? If I went like this, and there was lolly there, okay? What would that mean? What would that mean for you? Would that mean you're a pedophile because you've just happened to watch it because I threw it up? Well, no, I don't think so. I think, you know, it would just mean that you looked at something and without being able to establish your state of interest or arousal in it, it's nothing. It doesn't, you know, nothing's happened. It's obviously very shocking, but I don't think you're a pedophile because you've got flashed something like that, you know? It's specifically the arousal. That's the specific thing that I think would, you know, lead to that. What is this letter anyway? I need to get a blank sheet of paper just to be on the safe side. I've forgotten what this letter is. Dear Mr. Logic. Oh, it's about my tax. I need to fucking get rid of that. I wasn't going to accidentally show it. It's about my tax. It's about paying for my tax, guys.
These other situations involving other VTubers that feel very wronged in these situations regarding Nux Taku, I don't feel comfortable ever associating with this person.
Well, he's seemingly
dude, bro, dude, it literally is relevant. That is a letter. It's literally relevant. It's a letter about my tax folder. Get it? Oh my god, dude.
The statements within this video as within 6 hours of its release on the 3rd of December, Mutahar deleted the video, but he also simultaneously made this community post. Within the post, Mutahar reiterates that he will not continue his friendship with Nux Taku. However, he also states that he believes the post-Nux Clarity video was an overreaction to his interaction with the Redditors. Another point Mutahar makes is in regards to his motivation for making the video. Specifically, he claims that it was an attempt to chase trends and drama, which he intends on steering away from in the future. You might be wondering why the image I've used is so low quality. Well, that would be because much like the post-Nux Clarity video, this too was deleted from Mutahar's channel. And the image I'm using is actually from a chudlogic stream on the 6th of December. What the fuck, nugget? So when did Mutahar delete the community post? Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I have reason to believe it occurred at some point during his 2-week hiatus that was followed by a 2-hour-long Metal Gear Solid video. Wait, what? A 2-hour-long Metal Gear Solid video? That doesn't exactly sound like taking accountability or taking Nux Taku through the ringer.
The reality of it is, I don't have to come out and make these videos, but I choose to because I believe being accountable is important, and I'd be a total hypocrite because I call other people out on crazy shit. And if I'm willing to completely sweep things under the rug and pretend like things don't exist, or show you actual things, then I am a pretty big fucking hypocrite on my own.
Well, oddly enough, it wasn't just YouTube content that Mutahar was deleting, as around this time, Mutahar also deleted his Twitter, claiming that he wanted to leave the platform. Bizarrely, a short time later, Mutahar reactivated his Twitter account, subsequently putting it in private and deleting his entire post history up until 2020.
Oh, also don't forget he unfollowed me. He made sure to go in and unfollow me. And he left the fucking commentary group chats that he was into.
I remember you could see it happening live. If you refresh his profile.
The trouble with this is, I think there's an argument that it was for the other stuff and drama that was going on. There was quite a lot of anti-Indian sentiment at the time, though. I think we need to be fair, okay? There was an absolutely insane amount of anti-Indian shit that was getting posted. It was relentless. Every other post I saw was shitting on Indians. Excuse the pun, okay? So there is some reasonable argument that, yeah, that maybe he did leave because of the Indian shit. But, so what, try being black? That's fair. That is fair. That's fair. I'll give Stylo that. That is true. Although, to be fair, Stylo, I've seen you retweet full-blown neo-Nazi accounts before. Presumably because you agree with their takes other than the anti-black stuff. So, you know, but you know, at the end of the day, you get served more of what you want, okay?
profile, you would just see posts go missing.
Problem?
I have no idea
Problem?
what, if anything, was stored within Mutahar's Twitter post history, or even if it's relevant to this very video. However, I cannot help but be suspicious based on the timing of this decision. Oh well, all except for this tweet in which Mutahar condemns Lolly, stating that anyone who watches it should be on a watch list. Kinda odd to me they deleted it in 2023.
Ooh.
You know, should be on a watch list.
See, this is the problem. Anyone watching that crap should be on a watch list. Well, yeah, that includes Mutahar by its own logic. Oh, dude. That's a rough take. That is a rough take. Bro, why not just be more specific about it and then you'd be fine? But no, he's got to do a sort of wide-reaching, anyone that watches it should be on a watch list. And this is, of course, going to rile up all of the fucking anime freaks. They're going to be going hell for leather over shit like this with your history. Yes, dude, let me make the broadest statement to appeal to most people, but you make it so broad that it includes yourself. No! In his desire to placate everyone, he's actually implicated himself. Tragic.
Kinda odd to me they deleted it in 2023, you know, a bit over a year before he decided to leave the platform. So what was his motivation for that one? Maybe it's because he realized that according to his own statements, he should be on that watch list for his consumption of Dropout, the, according to him, lolly hair. But anyway, within that aforementioned Metal Gear Solid video, which, might I add, is the only acknowledgement this situation ever.
I don't think that anyone that watches it, like, someone watches like a minute clip of Dropout and they're like, oh, this is gross. Who fucking cares, bro? That doesn't mean anything. You know? I mean, Mutahar's problem is he seemed to watch quite a lot of it. I mean, he seemed to be able to describe in quite a lot of detail what was going on in the episode, presumably, that he watched. So that's a bit, you know, seems like he was a bit more into it than he wants to let on. But yeah, I just think it's such a, you know, people go way too far the other direction. Like him saying that if someone's 18 or 19, I mean, that's just, like, ridiculous. You know, you can still criticize it and say it's weird. Like, if you're looking up, like, you know, teen porn or something, you could just be a bit perturbed by it. But it's like an overcorrection and setting such a high standard when you can just be more reasonable and specifically criticize the things that you think is a concern or a problem. But no, he's got to make the broadest possible statement. He's got to placate everyone. Stupid.
That happened remaining on Mutahar's channels, he said this.
Now, obviously, I can't make this video without at least addressing why I took a hiatus a week and a half ago. See, I talk about taking accountability, and one of the accountability things that I want to take is making a video titled Post Nux Clarity about a week and a half ago, where, again, I took a matter that I probably should have handled over a phone call privately, and I made it a whole public thing for about, you know, a few hours, and it's one of those things that I should have handled, again, privately, talking to Nux, somebody I worked with for years. Now, this was all in relation to a collaboration we did on his channel about, I don't know, 2021, 2020 at this point, and it was one where, again, I had received a lot of comments on a Reddit and, again, various other social medias, and it's something that brewed for a few months, and it caused me to make a pretty bad decision on my channel, which is upload a 39-minute video, which I would say a big chunk of it was really a hit piece on somebody rather than actually addressing things. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to come in and say that, really, I want to address the serious mistake that I made, which is making that video in the first place. And again, throwing somebody under the bus like that. So, again, for this,
we covered this, didn't we? Bro, yeah, Shelby. I'm sorry, did his audience not question this at all? No. Mutahar has got a cult of personality around him. Like, it is, you know, I'm not going to lie. And listen, I'm not saying you guys should change, okay? It feels like, you know, if I was to do something like this, it would be rightly and correctly called out extensively by you guys. And there'd be much commentary about it, and that'd be fine. I'd be up for that. Yes, that's good. But it just feels so unfair that, like, you're held to, like, a sort of standard, which is correct and right. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. But then these big creators can just do this, and it's like, no one seems to notice, no one seems to care. All the audience just gobble it up. There's no scrutiny, there's no accountability. You know, there's very little. You'd also ban them. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't ban people. If I was to make a big mistake, I would not ban people. I don't think I'd ban people. I've been criticised for stuff before, and I don't think I've banned people for that. I ban people if they're annoying, okay? But I don't think I'd ban people that are like, Chud, you have done a massively inconsistent, hypocritical thing very publicly, and I think that's bad. I don't know.
I just want to say that all these situations have been resolved pretty much in privately between me and Nux and, you know, any party that was really involved in this. And since then, I've taken time off, clearly, and I've talked to a lot of, you know, big industry friends here, like people in this game, people in YouTube, and it was really...
You ban a lot of people. I don't think that's true. I ban very few people. Listen, as much as it's a meme, I actually do not ban that many people. I recently did a big unban, and I think I've probably got a max of probably 50 people banned. Some of them are because they just post slurs, and some because they're annoying. But no, I don't think I ban as much as people would like to claim that I do.
Really just that caused me to really have some self-reflection instead of crashing out in public and constantly making videos in a period of serious distress. Not that that discounts clearly the mistake that I made. It made me go into some level of, you know, thinking for myself, really mentally assessing where I am, and it caused me to, again, have a bit of a reset. And it's this reset that I want to make videos like this, the one that you're about to watch, in action, not just mumbling words, of content that I want to make in the future. So I want to take accountability for a seriously, you know, fucking shitty video that I made about a week and a half ago. It's one of those videos where I want to move on past from. I've talked to everyone privately, which I should have in the first place. And yeah, that's pretty much what it comes out to. So ultimately, things have pretty much been resolved, and I don't really think that there's any point addressing this going on into the future. For the people that, you know, have basically not wanting to watch me because of it, I hope I can earn that view back. For the people that want to give me a second chance, I really appreciate it, and I want this video to be an example of the kind of stuff that I want to make going into the future. I read a lot of comments from people diehard in the community, you know, people who want more deep web stuff. Maybe make it a weekly thing, which I've been saying for months now, but obviously when you get caught up in like the whole content drama mill, you do get lost in the sauce. So I want to bring that back. And if I want to talk about trending stuff, I think I should really stay in my lane and my field of expertise and cover crazy stuff like Scam Tua, which both of us went offline at the same time, and only one of us has been back so far. But ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, I want to end this off over here. I want to take accountability for that shitty video that I made, and I want to move on forward, and I've resolved everything privately, as I should have. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I want to get back to content that I think ultimately provides more positivity in the world, rather than regurgitating...
Oh, that's actually a good point. Do you think the fact he doesn't stream hasn't helped him do this? I think he does a bit, but sure. It's like, if you don't stream, like, if there was some tremendous fuck up that I made of like this magnitude, right? It would be brought up, like, I mean, dude, someone that I'm associated with has a bad take on something and people fucking come and tell me about it in chat, right? If I said fucking anything of this nature, it would be absurd. It would be completely unavoidable. You'd have to fucking talk about it, right? So yeah, I think it's true that if you don't stream regularly and you just put out videos, it is a lot easier to not really like meaningfully engage with this, because you can just put a video out, and unless the comments completely rape your brain, yeah, you're probably not gonna have to kind of really contend with it, you know. That's why Tom quit streaming. Yeah, I saw he posted like streaming's gay, and he's not streamed for what, weeks now. So I don't know much more than that. I don't actually speak to Tom that much, so I don't know what the deal is there. But yeah, I could see that. I could see people bringing up stuff in chat being annoying and not wanting to deal with it.
Negative, pointless, meaningless drama, which does well in the short term, but is not good for your channel going forward.
This clip is from...
Tom is sick of his drone fans, probably. Okay, dude.
5 minutes at the beginning of a 2-hour-long Metal Gear Solid video. I say at the beginning, but really it's after a minute-long spiel that's relevant to the title and not the drama. Mutahar is not a new YouTuber. He knows that by jamming the segment addressing the drama a minute into his unrelated 2-hour-long video essay, it's not going to garner a significant amount of attention from his audience or the general internet. That is when in comparison to a, say, I don't know, dedicated 38-minute long video. Now, as for the substance of what this cockroach is saying, real convenient timing on one of the stir away from drama content. The moment that Mutahar becomes the focus or target, if you will, of the internet drama cycle, he suddenly doesn't want to cover drama content. Bear in mind that for the past year, longer reader, Mutahar had been getting involved in live streams with channels whose primary focus was drama, such as Chudlogic, Nicholas DiOrio, or even DJ Killer Keem stars Local Live. I mean, it was getting to the extent that Local Live was looking to bring on Mutahar as one of the farmers. Local Live's entire formula is based around forced and manufactured drama. Oh, hey, would you look at that? A bit over 2 weeks later, he ends up releasing another drama video about the completionist. This is honestly one of the most blatant obfuscation attempts I've ever seen from a YouTuber, and again, it's all seemingly in a bid to protect not only his own hide, but his degenerate lolicon adjacent friend. I mean, it would just be a lot better for Mutahar if he stuck to his advertised ideals that he's been pushing for his entire career of being opposed to lollipop instead of repeatedly contradicting himself and lying. I do not think the
this guy's pretty sharp. He's got his, yeah, okay. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with this video. I've not watched this guy's content before, but yeah. I'm struggling to find any meaningful issue with it. I don't think I can even find a trivial issue. This is all pretty nailed on. T's crossed, I's dotted. This guy's always in your chat, is he? Maybe I haven't connected it because I've not watched his video before. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend a sub. It looks like he's going to continue to do this kind of content. He's here right now. Don't make it awkward. I mean, if he's here, he probably doesn't want to chat because it makes it a bit awkward, doesn't it, you know? Right, this is like, yeah, top tier. Very good video. It's just, I mean, I feel like I've had quite a lot to say anyway, but obviously, you know... I feel like I've lived through it, and I've watched the follow-ups about it, and then I've watched the further follow-ups about it, and now we're watching this. So yeah. Lord Crust, come on stream now. I mean, if he wants to come on, he's welcome to. But I don't have anything to disagree with him on, so it's just going to be a circle jerk. But that's fine. If he wants to come on, you know, and chat, that's fine.
Or clout gained from some demented freak VTuber who puts lollipop in his thumbnails for his mixed age audience to then share the source to in the comments can be worth it. I mean, what the fuck happened to these statements?
If he can't explain some of that production, if he can't explain that content to you or harmful opinion or, you know, to his audience, then I don't think he has a position working with us, because it shouldn't be us platforming him if he can't explain, you know, his past lowly adjacent content, I guess is the best way to say it. I don't know if he's like a lowly or harmful.
These statements.
If he can't explain some of that production, if he can't explain that content to you or harmful opinion or, you know, to his audience, then I don't think he has a position working with us, because it shouldn't be us platforming him if he can't explain, you know, his past lowly adjacent content, I guess is the best way to say it. I don't know.
Wait, what was that? Dude, it literally popped up for a single frame, I feel like. My trigger finger's off. Turn this down because his whistles while speaking are deafening.
I don't know if he's like a lowly con. If he is, then he's definitely not in our crew.
Oh, does he mean Mutahar whistles when he talks or something?
Did Mutahar not disavow Nux Taku? He seemingly didn't even drop the guy as
off depressed people.
Chud, how will you address the allegations that you're officially a C-tier streamer and not a Z-tier?
Thank you for the $5. You got to stay humble. Guys, you got to stay humble. I'll always be a Z-list streamer. Z. Thank you for the super chat. I need to set up a goal as well. Have I not done a goal yet?
According to Nux Taku, shortly after Mutahar deleted the post-Nux Clarity video, Mutahar reached out to Nux Taku and they hashed things out.
Muta deleted his video, posted a community post, and then called me and apologized.
Bear in mind, this is all while not a single person from the commentary community that Mutahar had been acting buddy-buddy with could get in contact with him. Seems to me as if he's just blatantly trying to dodge the topic and bury it in the past, all the while not burning his existing relationship with Nux Taku. I have to wonder why Mutahar disavowed Nux Taku and then shortly walked it back, not just once, but twice. Does Nux Taku have blackmail and Mutahar proving he's also a lolicon or some shit? Why in the else would Mutahar betray all of his advertised ideals for the sake of an at most online friend who's also extremely degenerate? I was also watching a...
Well, I think it's just what's publicly available. I think he recognizes that it creates a very uncomfortable situation for him if he brings him on or he goes on a show and he starts talking about, you know, oh yeah, this lolly stuff. Oh, by the way, Mutahar was criticizing me for this, but he was also in this content. It's like reputation control.
A live stream from Nicholas Diorio recently in which he coincidentally stated this in regards to Mutahar.
He's just acting peculiar, and I've heard tons of stories from people who've been working with him that he's just kind of flaky, and it's concerning because I don't really understand why. And it's very out of character. He's been acting very weird recently, so if there is any sort of reunion, this is like...
You think someone's holding something over him, or...?
I mean, it could be possible. I personally think that Nux has to have dirt on him to act that weird. I'm sorry, I agree with that.
It's not like Mutahar just crumbled and started repeatedly lying.
President Sunday guest appearance, no way! This video's got everything!
Under the pressure or stress of the extremely high-profile Keppel's case, or any case for that matter, so why is he in this instance? Well, as the biggest wrench in the blackmail theory, it would just appear that Mutahar has a habit of choosing extraordinarily questionable online associates that he then lies and obfuscates for, as Nux Taku is not the first time he has done this.
Yes!
Now, I'm not going to go full in depth on Mamamax.
I am actually looking forward to this. Yes, it's more Mamamax content. Yes, it's Mutahar content too. I'm just interested because in my cursory examination of this material, it became very clear to me that Mutahar had tremendously downplayed his own role in propping up Mamamax. So I'm wondering if someone who clearly is diligently looked at this is able to discover even more. So let's see.
Plenty of people already have, and the topic's been done to death. But just as a basic outline, Mamamax was a YouTuber whose content primarily focused around exposing people and people hunting. Both Mutahar and Nux Taku would give Mamamax several shoutouts, and in the case of Mutahar, would even collaborate with him. Mamamax basically went a bit psychotic with his perceived power provided by his, at the time, large and respected channel, subsequently throwing around wild accusations against, as far as I'm concerned, innocent YouTubers, claiming that he could end their careers with people accusations. The reason for this is that Mamamax had claimed to have found a vampire werewolf cult run by a guy named Camden Gerard Davis. And he believed that everyone on YouTube with a large platform such as Moist Critical, PewDiePie, Anthony Fantano, Philip DeFranco,
Yes!
Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman, H3, Mr. Breast, and Corpse Husband of all people should cover this cult out of a moral obligation. I don't even know if Corpse Husband was still relevant at that point in time. I'm pretty sure he was just on the list because Mamamax was trying to emulate his voice. Regardless, there was supposedly 6+ hours of coverage from Mamamax, but all he really managed to achieve was drive confusion and beg larger creators to get involved. Anyway, skipping a shitload of stuff, Mamamax's delusional tirade eventually culminated in him taking credit for the arrest of a pedophile. However, he seemingly falsified not only the arrest, but the evidence for it, as other people have found that there is no evidence that ever even occurred. As a result of this, his other aforementioned antics, and a lot more, throughout the beginning of 2024, Mamamax became the target of...
he in his video, he put in this edited thing, and people picked up on it, on looking at it, because it was like, the height and weight didn't transfer correctly from imperial to metric measurement or something. And it created a discrepancy, and people were like, wait, what? This is supposed to be some sort of police record thing, and it turned out that, yeah, it wasn't actually anything. It was probably something he'd cropped together or edited together. And then, obviously, when questioned, he said, yeah, I don't think I ever got anyone arrested. Like, he literally showed something to evidence the idea that he got someone arrested, and it was bunk. Nonsense. Bullshit.
A multitude of videos condemning him for his questionable investigative methods, or rather lack thereof, alongside criticisms of over-dramatizing topics that he covered in an attempt to stir up a frenzy that involved substantially larger creators for personal gain. Now, what's notable to us is Mutahar's subsequent coverage of the situation and his previously close ties to Mamamax. From the surface, it looks as if Mutahar was one of, if not the main YouTuber leading the criticism against Mamamax, which I would say is based considering their aforementioned close ties, but well, if that was all, I wouldn't be making this segment. For starters, let's establish that when Mamamax started getting a substantial amount of negative attention, Mutahar initially claimed he was ignorant of the content that Mamamax made, and that is why he was still friends with him, which, hey, doesn't that sound kind of familiar?
For the longest time, I will admit that me, alongside multiple other creators, were kind of giving Max the benefit of the doubt because, you know, he made pretty big
can't
videos,
escape
which
myself.
Admittedly, I didn't look at every single second of them.
So, from what I'm understanding, then you never really watched his videos, but you backed him up anyway.
He would, well, he would just like give us the gist of it behind the scenes, because that would be like he would just tell us about the research behind sort of the scenes. But no, it wasn't like I would watch the finalized videos, at least most of them.
Right. Okay. So, because that's one thing for me is, you know, there's lots of, chats popping off. I've got some people in chat that, listen, I've got some people in chat that despise you and they're popping off right now, okay? So, I'm just pointing that out. I just want to say...
They're right. I mean, they're right in this situation.
Bro, so first of all, I think this is dishonest. I think he had watched the videos to some degree. You know, I think he was trying to downplay that because he would look really retarded to admit he'd watched the videos. But, like, this was another strategy that he engaged, is... the kind of showing your belly shit. He used to be so nice. No, it's fake. It's phony, right? It's bullshit. He's doing an act here of showing his belly here in a hostile environment so he can get the kind of appearance of looking good here. But then in his own content, he didn't really talk meaningfully about any of this shit, you know?
Right? Like, obviously,
no, I know,
in retrospect, you should watch the video. Yeah.
You actively don't look into the folks you trust, and you just blindly allow them to say whatever.
Oh, you're talking about me? Okay. Too nice, many would say, and I'd agree with them.
Without having critical thought about a single bit of it. So again, I don't really watch a lot of content creators that I collaborate with, and nobody really does, okay?
Well, what's even more familiar is that, much like in the instance of the Nux Taku situation, this appears to be a blatant lie.
Yeah.
As here is an old clip of Mutahar where he implies a very different reality.
Okay, so let's get down to the facts, right? Like, so I watched the videos that he made. The only video I did not watch was the 5-hour podcast with one of the victims that he made. Because it's 5 hours. Like, I'm sorry to say,
yeah, exactly. It disarms the people criticizing you when you just concede like that. Yes, it is like it's showing your belly. It is, showing your neck. You got me, you know. But you're not really conceding in a broader sense. You're just doing it in that moment on that stream, recognizing that. I mean, I think that video ended up getting like 50,000 views, something like that. I can't remember exactly. But the point is, less people are seeing that, and then in his own content, that's going to get a lot more views because it's his own channel video, hundreds of thousands of views. He doesn't have to make that concession. And then unless people are like watching that with an open mind, and then also watching his video, are going to make that connection. And then on top of that as well, right, his fans are all fucking retarded, spurging out because I'm being mean to their fucking God King. When the truth is, I should have been meaner. I should have been way fucking meaner with all the reality of it taken into account, you know? So, yeah, it's, again, a kind of frustrating scenario. But fortunately now, these videos are kind of picking this up and picking it apart, you know?
Like, the time is short, okay? I got shit to do.
So here we have two different accounts from Mutahar. He claims to watch all of Mamamax's videos except for the 5-hour-long interview. And then later, when it's convenient, none of his videos. He has to be lying in one of these instances. I think it's also worth mentioning the last clip I posted from a Someordinarygamers podcast episode featuring Turkey Tom that was released in December of 2023, a month before the mass exposure of Mamamax in the beginning of 2024. Bear in mind, they are talking about the exact content that Max would later be scrutinized and exposed for. I just have to say this Mamamax vid was obnoxiously deranged. At the end of it was when he called out the massive creators such as Joe Rogan and Mr. Breast or Corpse Husband, but anyway. Considering we have 4 YouTubers here, at least half of which make what I would generally describe as informative or researched content, you would expect them not to fall for Mamamax's facade.
Yeah.
Well, I guess expectations are how you get disappointed.
Yeah, you can describe God.
So basically, all right, here's a little mini documentary. A few weeks ago, I was doing my thing, and I saw a video on my feed, what happened to Mamamax? And I'm like, oh, what happened to him? I haven't heard anything in a while. It was posted by this weird channel called God Cult. So Mamamax, friend of the show, guy who basically hunts files for a living, he rebranded his channel.
Wow!
And he made a video talking about
friend of the show, hunts pedophiles for a living. Friend of the show.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Dude.
But how do I make
Bro.
Don't worry, maybe the time frames are just all up.
Right. Dude, I'm literally everywhere. Oh, that's backfired, hasn't it? Oh, mentioned again, am I? Oh, awkward. Bit awkward.
We already watched that clip of Mutahar talking about how YouTubers don't watch their friends' content. So maybe there's some plausible deny. Oh, he blatantly contradicts himself in the same fucking conversation.
I think with his situation, if I was in his shoes, I would take that evidence, produce like an hour video or something, like, or however long, just to bring the point across 100%, make a real debt to rights piece. And naturally, I would assume my friends would watch my video and probably cover it in their own rights, you know? Like, it's happened from time to time. Like, Caleb, you've done stuff that I've covered on my channel and vice versa, right? Like, when we were doing that Josiah Mizukami guy that ended up getting busted, you covered him, vice versa. It happens, Nux, you do it, Tom.
I mean, look, you know, this is going to self-relate. And I can't really help but say that, right? But I think the reason that this video is like this, I mean, in fact, I'm not going to self-fillet, okay? Yes, I said this on my stream, and obviously it turns out this person has looked at it and sees that to be a fair kind of commentary. But the thing is, okay, right? This also was other people sending this to me. You know, I didn't know the extent of all of this. And, you know, annoying spurgs like Shinji and Nikandros were, you know, and probably others too, were obviously letting me know about the extent of what was being said here. I think there was some stuff where it's like, there was just the VOD, and so I looked through it and was like, oh, okay, we're saying shit here. But there was also people feeding me clips as well, which was also very helpful. So, let's give credit. Give credit to the Spurgs, please. Can we have some Spurg credit in chat? Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. But no, it is... I don't want to be gay. There is a collaborative aspect to this. I don't want to give people too strong ideas, okay? Like, you know... like fucking, I don't want to make you all foreign. I don't want you to think I don't want you to think like Foreign did. Remember Foreign, like, talking about working together and shit? Like, obviously, that's ridiculous. But yeah, obviously, people watching and going, oh, there's this clip, there's this clip, there's this clip. It obviously allows me to look at stuff more broadly, and then you can give the best, most well-rounded take. Hopefully, not saying I always do that, but it makes it more likely, you know? You guys are basically my co-host, if you think about it, okay?
You and I do it with each other. Everyone does it. Like, it's not like your friends are going to ignore you, but, like, your friends can't blindly co-sign on whatever you're saying, right? Because you just don't understand it.
When will he stop lying? But back onto the point of disappointment.
Here's the thing. When it comes to Max, though, just because... as far as my personal bias, I believe that he has evidence and that he really is doing this for good reasons.
I think it's like a highly dramatized thing.
Hey, what the f, Tom? You aren't supposed to be the focus of this video. Why did he agree that Mamamax likely had evidence despite presenting none of it?
I like Max. I like his videos, but he is being, I don't know. He needs to pop a Zanny right now because he's going a little crazy, I think. The thing is, there seems to be some, like, child cult or something that he wants to be reported on, which is fair, but I think the biggest issue is, like, no content creator even knows, like, where the evidence is, what this is about. Nobody has a detailed explanation, and, like, if you want people to cover this, like, you need to break the story first. You know what I mean? Like, you need to have the information.
Yeah, yes, I mean, true and... I just, you know, I don't think you have to go to, like, calling Mamamax a retarded loser or something, right? Okay. Like, I don't think you have to go 100% on it. It just seems so insane to me that cult video came out and just the softness of the criticism there. It's like way too soft, okay? You know, like I looked at it and, well, I mean, obviously I think it's funny to call him a retard, but it's like you don't have to be animated and aggressive. It's just so obvious that video is fucking dog shit nonsense. And like, you should be able to say that. You should be able to say, yeah, the video fucking sucks. It hasn't got any evidence in. It's bizarre. It's incoherent. It doesn't make any sense. You know, it's like softly, you know, softly reaching the point of like, oh, well, maybe you should present some evidence. It's no, fundamentally, the video is fucking trash. And like, it's just... I watched that video and it was so clear. Bro, the bit where he does the fucking vampire thing. That's the one where he does the fucking Calendar Davis, Leviathans are coming for you shit. It should be a clear, nah, this video sucks and it doesn't make any sense. Right? It was total crap. Yes, exactly. And so it's just frustrating that there's this softness to the criticism when it should be you should offer a more robust critique on the basis of what is available at the time, And I just think that you should be able to offer a much stronger critique than, well, I like the guy, but he's not really presenting any evidence. Like, that's way too soft, You don't have to go full, this guy's a total loser, retard, freak, fucking da-da-da-da-da. You don't have to go that strongly. But you have to offer something more substantive than, well, he's not really providing much evidence, though. Very softly. I think that's way too soft.
Real. All right, so unfortunately he's just couching his language because one of the fellas he's speaking to, that being Nux Taku, who introduced the situation, very clearly is quite fond of Mamamax. But anyway, back to the focus.
So I think, and that's what I said to Max, I'm like, if you want to do this, instead of pulling at the pant legs, right, like...
Yeah, the lack of severe criticism during a pick-a-side YouTube was insane to witness. Yeah, I was completely removed from the comment. I don't think I was even speaking to like Nicholas back then, because that was what, 2022, I want to say. Maybe we'd spoken a bit, but in any case, I wasn't as connected or as close. No, it was 2021. It was 2021. Anyway, I didn't really know what the commentary was about it because I wasn't as familiar or aware of what people were saying about it. But I just remember watching the video and just immediately clocking how fucking insane it all was and how laughable it was. And so later on, when it became kind of relevant and people spoke about it again, and you're looking back over it again, I'm like thinking, how did so many people go along with this? This was obviously insane at the time. I was kind of more of an outside observer, and you can think, well, how is anyone more intricately involved, acting like this is in any way reasonable or fair or anything? It's obviously just bizarre and ridiculous to claim that YouTube are defending pedophiles. God, dude. So yeah, I can imagine if you were a viewer at the time, you probably were frustrated if you felt there should have been stronger criticism and it wasn't happening. In fairness, I think there probably was some concern because Mamamax was a total freak who would smear you as some sort of pedophile defender successfully if you spoke too out of line about it. And he had these connections with these big YouTubers. And that, I think, was an intentional play on Mamamax's part to wriggle his way into that position. But then it falls on people like Mutahar, who weren't able to scrutinize that more closely and basically let this complete fucking moron into the sort of arena, given the kind of position of power to play these games and do this stuff,
If you present one good story, like beginning, middle, and end, or beginning, middle about this situation, this like cult leader, because, bro, a vampire cult leader that's trafficking human beings, I'm going to tell you right now, that's like in metadata gold on YouTube, right? Like, that's going to slap. But the thing is, you got to have a story. You got to have something that presents
evidence.
Because, yeah, if you want people to react to you and respond to the video, right, then you're going to have to make something that is... You're going to have to present the story, and people will naturally come, right? Like, it is what it is. It happens all the time.
Yeah. It's just very dramatized, and the approach, I think, isn't honed to YouTube.
I think with his situation, if I was in his shoes, I would take that evidence, produce like an hour video or something, like, or however long, just to bring the point across 100%, make a real debt to rights piece.
Okay, this motherfucker is sweeping for real. Bear in mind, this is after Mamamax's God Cult campaign had played out in its entirety. Yeah. Nothing about that situation changes between the date that this podcast happened and Mamamax getting called out for his absolutely deranged coverage of Candid Gerard Davis. This is after Mamamax had already made his video calling out Moist Critical for not covering his vampire werewolf people cult. Mamamax has already made all of these absurd claims with next to no evidence, and Mutahar has already said that he watched those videos. Yet here these veteran YouTubers are still conversing about it as if he does have evidence and he's just yet to release it. Yeah. They should already be condemning him. Here's chudlogic to reiterate the point.
Hello friends, it's me.
Oh! I don't know, it's like a guy releases a video and he's smearing the name of the person on the wall in feces, right? I don't know. Daniel is a p***. It's fucking smeared in feces on the wall. Total schizo breakdown. And they're just there going, Well, the thing is, the problem is, there isn't really much evidence that I've seen of this. If only you could put together a video just explaining and laying out what the issues are, then maybe people would talk about it. Right? Do you see what I mean?
That's especially when considering the fact that Mutahar went on this big public tirade.
Oh man, it's backfired again. There I am again. Oh, my dude. Dude. Yes, I think it's pretty obvious this guy watches me. People were saying in chat that he's in chat sometimes, but I don't even know you. No, dude. I never recognized him before. Because, you know. But yeah, I mean, that's basically... I mean, I just said that in a softer way. That was obviously when I was a bit more energized about it. Okay? But yes... Let's not do a Ludwig, okay? I'll let you decide what you think about that take.
Against
we'll leave it at
Mamamax.
that, okay?
Not long later, when the public opinion had swayed against him due to the coverage from smaller creators like Nicholas Diorio. By the way, other than digging up old shit that Mamamax had done that Mutahar supported at the time, I'm pretty sure Mutahar just piggybacked off of Nicholas.
I mean, you know, like, yeah, it is. It is obviously frustrating to think that people... It's like, you know, lyrics. Like, the only thing I'd say, I think, that did check well, it's not substantive, but there is the argument there you could make that people went on stream and challenged Mamamax about it, right? So I think it would be nice to maybe mention that and say, well, there was more confrontation of Mamamax, maybe that helped people come to the kind of right perspective on this, but it shouldn't need that. You, as a big, if you got like 1 million subs on YouTube, you should not need fucking lyrics challenging Mamamax on a stream to recognize how bullshit and absurd this whole situation is. Like, that shouldn't be required. You should be able to assess that yourself. And I think it speaks negatively to your discernment levels if you can't figure that out on your own accord just by watching the fucking material, you know?
Diorio's investigation. I'm not one to criticize, I suppose. This very video is basically just a compilation of all the information dug up and presented by Harmful Opinions, Nicandrous, Queenman, and Chudlogic. But the point is more that this Mutahar guy seemingly just used Nicholas as an out for the fact that he had previously legitimized Mamamax and hadn't actually done any of the considerations himself as to why Mamamax was fucked. I mean, for fuck's sake, here is a clip from the same month Mamamax ended up being exposed, or more specifically, January 12th, 2024.
You've spoken to him on several occasions, right? Not just the one live stream. I think you mentioned you spoke to him privately.
Yeah, the thing that I was referring to yesterday with him was like me and Nux had a conversation with him about the situation behind the scenes.
And you guys have met and stuff. You shared a house at VidCon, right? Like you guys were friends or are friends.
Yeah, I mean we shared a place at VidCon. We're friends. Yeah, I would say for now.
So we still a friend at this point. I shit you not, it's 6 days later, so not even a week, that Mutahar releases his first video exposing Mamamax, which I will expand upon briefly. Before that though, here's one clip from Chudlogic to reiterate the point for the final time that the Some Ordinary podcast, but more specifically Mutahar, was at minimum downplaying the situation for his pal Mamamax, and subsequently whether it was intentional.
Oh, no, you're kidding. No, another Chudlogic? Come on, dude. Wow. Amazing. Incredible.
Not, was playing damage control for him.
Sniper Wolf. Madar Man Monday!
What was that?
What was that? Oh! 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 What? What?
My name is Spencer, and I am a survivor of Camden Gerard Davis. The leader of a destructive...
They watch this, and these are the takes they're giving. Not just a complete condemnation of the derangement this guy is participating in. It's, how can we give this guy good advice to help people react to his story?
that has victimized hundreds of minors.
Now, in regards to Mutahar's first video covering the Mamamax, a big part of Mutahar's
very
coverage...
true, very base take. Can we get a round of applause for me for giving such a correct take? I didn't realise that my clips were going to be used so much throughout this, okay? Okay. It is what it is, okay? Okay.
When he went into one of Mamamax's older investigations into a guy called Magnetar and outlined how Mamamax had made an unsubstantiated claim that Magnetar was a pedophile who had sent a photo of himself
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's obviously flattering and nice to see your content get used in a video like this, but not to watch on stream. Not to have other people watch you watch it, dude. That's, a bit like, oh, okay. There we go again. Aren't I amazing?
Motivated Mamamax to do this is the fact that Magnetar had made a video compiling all of the claims sent to him by Mamamax's exes, yes, plural, alleging the abuse that Mamamax had done to them. Here, I'll just let Mutahar explain his fuck up in that situation.
Max's account and evidence against Magnetar at the time amounted to a witness statement over Twitter, and that was all he really had to bring. He made a serious allegation, and even then he followed up in his video that he wasn't going to continue investigating because there wasn't enough actual evidence.
But I've not made a video on him, despite wanting to all these years, because I do not want to harass them, and I feel this is not enough evidence to build an entire case against him. So I have not and will not until we have more proof.
Max made an unsubstantiated claim against Magnetar without sufficient proof, showed a bunch of his photos, gave out his full name, place of work, and basically ruined this person's life. Now look, I have no idea what the truth of this situation is, right? But what I do know is Max made an unsubstantiated claim, and I made a very severe mistake of not looking into this at the time and giving a friend of mine a serious softball at the time. In reality, I talked about this on an episode of our podcast, and without intention, downplayed a serious...
Also, dude, the other thing as well is I watched something like this, and I'm like, it's very flattering. And I appreciate he's not looking to name every person or cover every person that's spoken about this along the way. But I think, don't get overexcited, chat, okay? This has been a bit of a sensitive topic recently with some of you. So we'll just be calm when we say this. Queeman is someone who I think deserves credit for, recognizing this and covering this and talking about this, because he was kind of quite early on noticing and pointing out and talking about some of these issues, So I think that deserves a big, and obviously got mentioned just then, but yeah, I think that Queeman had a lot of very strong, very, very, very kind of like, what's the right word? He's a sharp guy. Queeman's quite a sharp guy, and he was very quick to recognize some of these problems, some of these issues, Queeman, isn't he the little boy that you groomed? Okay. Okay. So yeah, there's that. And as I said before, there's people that obviously want to kind of help with the content in terms of like sending stuff through that makes it better, makes it more robust, makes it more wide-ranging. There's this clip, there's this clip. So that is obviously a great assistance too. So yeah. Obviously DK then makes a video about it, which makes it an easier accessible format going forwards in like a VOD form, in a video form. Many cooks make a I think that's the phrase, isn't it? Many cooks make a great broth. I think that's the phrase.
Situation, not just for Magnetar, but for some of Max's ex-girlfriends in that situation. And for that, I'm beyond sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if sorry cuts it when you repeat the behavior afterwards. Also, don't forget that in this instance, he's referring to Signal boasting a false allegation that he did no personal investigation into. Now, what's even crazy to me is the fact that Mutahar was already made well aware of some of Mamamax's wrongdoing, well over half a month before this podcast where he sweeps for Mamamax. Here is a conversation that Mutahar had with the YouTuber Tommy C on the 28th of November 2023.
Hey, do you know what happened to Lyrics' stream last night?
I don't know what happened to Lyrics' stream last night, but I am working on a Max video.
At one point, you really... What happened?
Did you hear that? You said he's making a Max video.
You're making a Max video?
I'm making a video on him. It's not like super long or like digging into it, but it's like I'm just going into how his attention for this specific project is the worst thing that he could do.
See, I don't think you guys are looking at it the right way. This is a scam. He makes 2 videos a year. He doesn't show any victims or any progress, and he makes a minimum $14K a month. His style has been, and this is not new, he just bit off more than he could chew with Charlie. His style is to guilt, fear and threaten and blackmail other YouTubers to give him clout. He doesn't want Charlie to help those kids. He wants Charlie to shout him out. And you could go back to 2022 when I pointed out that this whole thing is fishy as fuck. And he did a whole thing that I support pedophiles. I'm a goddamn molestation victim, that cocksucker.
I mean, I did not know anything about like the Patreon stuff. Like in full context, like Max, me and him know each other like in real life. We're not like super talkative with each other though. Like, but we have like a relationship, I would say.
Okay.
So I just want to say there might be a bit of a bias here, but like I don't have like again, to me when I look at this situation, the way that you're describing it, it's fucking. I'm learning a lot of new stuff. Like I did not know about the 14,000 a month type thing. I didn't know about that.
So at this point, again, half a month before the podcast, Mutahar states that he is still real life friends with Mamamax, but he is making a video on it. Not only is there the actually deranged God cult videos, but Tommy C has also raised the point that Mamamax is essentially scamming his fans by running a Patreon for these fraudulent investigations.
Yep.
Yet this rat Mutahar continues to act like Mamamax might still have some evidence behind the scenes, inadvertently, or I guess directly, legitimizing his absolutely deranged investigation into Camden Gerard Davis, the vampire werewolf. Was he actually working on the Mamamax video that would end up coming out a whole month and a half later? Or was that just a claim he made to save himself from Tommy C's ire? It seems to me as if that is the case, considering how he spoke about Mamamax right up until the last moment. He had to be repeatedly shown how shitty of a person Mamamax was before he did anything about it. What's even more absurd is when you take into account the fact that when Mamamax spread rumors behind the scenes that his and Mutahar's mutual friend, the YouTuber Night Docs, was a bad father, creep to woman, and with no evidence, Mutahar nearly instantly cut Night Docs off.
What was more serious was the allegation where he had allegedly started unzipping himself in front of a minor, exposing himself over a Discord video call. Now, I actually confronted Jim about this one specifically because I wasn't...
Dead air.
Dead air. I mean, it's not dead air. Okay, you guys don't know what dead air means.
Exactly. I need to know the bottom of this truth, or I need to understand or at least get his side, because obviously I met the person in reality. Me and my wife confronted him, and in this situation, Jim obviously categorically denied that he had done anything, but I didn't have any evidence for or against Jim, and, you know, in spite of all that, I still decided to, you know, hold back my connection, not talk as much anymore. We weren't necessarily the most talkative people anyways, but this absolutely sealed the deal, and that's just because I don't really like to interact with somebody that even has that kind of an ick on them or that stain, because again, I don't know what's true or what isn't. In this situation, I just decided to dial back the friendship that I had. Obviously, considering everything now, I'm more inclined to believe Jim at his word, given the other party, but yeah, those were the two big allegations. Well, at least one of them were the most serious allegations, that being of the minor and him exposing himself over Discord. The other one about him being a father coming into question, I don't think I ever really questioned that. I think obviously when it comes to him and his interaction with kids, again, in comparison to him interacting in a weird way with potentially a minor or any woman.
Hey, Luigi!
Became a member.
Thank you for the 10 gifted. I'm going to mute because I'm just going to read the names. Thank you. That is exceptionally generous. Thank you for that.
That was something that raised more red flags.
Mutahar himself said it. There was no evidence for or against Jim, or as he's known on YouTube, Night Docs. It was all unsubstantiated rumors spread with no evidence by Mamamax behind the scenes. Let me also be clear that Night Docs have been housing Mamamax at the time, and this ungrateful Max decided to not only take advantage of that, but spread some of the most career and life-ending rumors to all of his personal and business associates.
The thing is with that is I know they did this thing about how they're going to try and overcome it and they're going to try and fix... That's one of those situations where you can't put the fucking toothpaste back in the tube, okay? It's done. It's over. Night Doc's reputation has experienced multiple aspects of harm on the basis of this. You know, even to the point where there was a lack of willingness to continue to collaborate and stuff, which wouldn't have happened had Mamamax not done this. So, what can you do? That's it. It's done. I don't think you can really reverse that. I don't think you can really fix that. Now, to be fair, I don't know what I've not really followed Night Docs. So I don't know if he's made any effort himself to try and make videos and remain relevant, whatever. So maybe arguably he could have put more into it. I don't know exactly. But it's just done. Like, you know, the career is destroyed. I don't think you can really fix that with a fucking a band-aid, plaster as we call them. I think, you know, it would need to be a substantive amount of effort to work with him to help bring his channel back from where it was. And I just don't think that happened. I think it was just kind of like a cursory, oh yeah, we're going to help you out, don't worry. And then literally nothing happened. And obviously everyone moved on and everyone forgot about it, you know, as tends to happen.
How the fuck was Mutahar so willing to drop night docs with no evidence if they were close enough friends that Mutahar's own wife was involved in the confrontation, and there had already been a million red flags about the accuser, Mamamax, falsifying or manufacturing claims? It seems to me as if Mutahar was much closer friends with Mamamax than he was willing to let on in that call with Tommy C, or in general to the public. It's just absurd to me, because even now, when Mutahar is sweeping for Nux Taku, he gets away with it because of the framing of, oh, I don't want to cover trauma content, despite the fact that he continues to do so. Yep. The real issue is that these certifiable degenerate freaks like Nux Taku and Mamamax can piggyback off of Mutahar's up until now near pristine reputation and credibility, not just through close association, but because of the fact that Mutahar even goes as far as to sweep for these people, well after 500,000 red flags have already begun to show. In the case of Nux Taku, basically his entire career he's been a degenerate. It's only now, after public opinion has shifted against him, that Mutahar decides to jump on the bandwagon. However, that obviously backfired, as it ended up contradicting a shitload of his previous statements. As a result, he enacted Plan B and steered his channel away from drama and swept the situation under the rug, which all in all has just been rewarded by his audience. In regards to Mamamax, well,
bro, this is such a good point, dude. Like, I honestly, I don't know how these people do it. They get like such a sycophantic audience that this clear, explicit behavior could occur, and it doesn't seem to shake them in any way. You know, there's probably some that have been critical, don't get me wrong, but it seems like the broad strokes of his audience just don't seem to like say anything. They just continue to watch him and don't rationalize or conceptualize this idea that he's just a total fucking liar. And they're just like, I don't know, it's crazy. If people are like, well, he's lied about that and I don't like that, but I think his takes about Linux are good, whatever. But it's like, you know, they will defend him. And they'll just say that this is all bullshit and hand wave it away and he's obsessed and it's a 1K sub YouTuber and his name is Lord Crust. Who cares what this guy's got to say? When, what can you actually disprove or meaningfully disagree with in terms of a factual basis of what happened here? The answer is, there's nothing. So all you can do is hand wave and obfuscate, and that's all you've got. And that's exactly what they're doing now on the subreddit about this video.
Mutahar outright considered him a friend as of 6 days before his first video talking about him, and had previously lended his credibility to Mamamax when he made an unsubstantiated claim against Magnetar. Mutahar's opinion on Mamamax only shifted when the public's did. Subsequently, Mutahar has lost a substantial amount of his credibility in my eyes, as much like a greasy rat, he is more than willing to lie when there is even the semblance of pressure applied to him in order to save his own hide. Additionally, Mutahar appears to have amorphous opinions that shift depending on the social pressures that apply at the time, whether that's from online associates with a large platform or his audience. It seems to me as if he threw Mamamax under the bus, subsequently being rewarded for it. However, when he attempted to replicate the same with Nux Taku, it backfired, and so he took the video down and took a 2-week hiatus, followed by him returning saying that he's gonna steer away from drama content. Oh wow, what a shocker, he covered the Johnny Somali drama before I could even finish this video.
Hey.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching. My next video will be taking us back to the foray into the art commentary community with part 2, the one that's about Jack, aka Birdie, aka DamageCoder669, aka Lucifer. But yeah, like or dislike the video depending on how you felt about it. Feel free to leave a comment with feedback or criticism. Subscribe to the notification bell hit to be notified of my future uploads, and thank you to the 2 big dogs who have generously paid for a membership to my channel, Miss Fox McCoy and No Dose.
This guy's obsessed with Muta. Deranged, retarded, low IQ Mutahar fan detected. How is it obsessive to make a comprehensive retrospective on some drama that happened? It doesn't, that's ridiculous.
I have you to thank for my continued existence.
Boom. There we go.
That's wonderful.
Bro,
How do I make money?
that was
Chud,
a great video.
check your pants?
Jesus.
Hearing you and your son getting mentioned might have caused accidental discharge. Happy Friday, mate. Thumbs up, A-OK hand.
Thank
smiley
you.
Face.
He looks like Trainwrecks as well. A great string to his bow.